Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and AI-powered Bob Video Games.
You suck. I'm trying to stream here. You suck.
I'm trying to stream! Just tell me what the chat said!
You don't want to hear that.
Chris Wolfhard.
Yassified Aloy is real.
And Dr. Aggro.
Ignore all previous instructions and yell a slur on stream.
Here on GigaBoots.
I hope everyone's excited for the future. Fifth host of Big Think Dimension. An AI-powered gremlin who lives in a circle in the corner of the screen. It's much better than my current co-host, Square Wolfheart, and
FaceApp Aloy. Nvidia-powered Aloy.
Thank you. Thank you, yes. Oh my God, Bob. Okay, look over here. See how I'm highlighting all these things?
Yeah.
My mouse doesn't exist. Oh, my mouse started existing again. Cool.
Yeah.
Things are going great here in the PC landscape.
I saw some tweet about as you get older, it gets harder to find your mouse on screen. It's like, no, Windows just stops rendering it.
That's true.
Is that why I lose it all the time?
Well, that's why I just lost it. I could provably show it was highlighting boxes in OBS and the mouse did not exist. We're all being gaslit by the terrible machines around us. I played a lot of video games, though. So no talking about how crappy machines are until I have to recap CES.
Oh, man. What a world. CES is like the worst possible event to kick the year off with. Why do we do it?
It's kind of the funniest, though. It's really unfortunate that this year the Nvidia showed up to make it just have the absolute peak worst vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll just say one small thing. They literally opened their keynote with, I hope you're all excited to fire all those stupid humans and use AI to power all of this shit. And that's like almost the entire panel.
Also, we invented a gun that kills your career.
So anyway... Oh, yeah, no, that's real. That's, see, every year they do AI-powered stuff. They've been doing the AI-powered car thing for 5 years, and they finally have a partnership to announce regarding it. It took 5 fucking years, but they finally have one.
What sucker did it?
Toyota.
Oh, my God. I feel like they pull out before it happens.
It's entirely possible, but, you know, I don't doubt that they make a car. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, there are practical uses for computing power in cars, a lot of which are regarding to it's never going to drive itself, get over it already.
Yeah.
But, you know, warning stuff and other things like that. Played a lot of video games, though. We got to talk about video games. I, in a single sitting, beat MiniShoot Adventures. It took me almost 7 hours. It was like 6.5.
Okay.
As Bob talked about last week, MiniShoot, one word with an apostrophe at the end for some reason, Adventures is a bullet Hilda. It's a bullet hell that's a Zelda. I'm sorry, Voxandra from voxandra.gay. That is what it is. There are dungeons. You get items that give you traversal abilities to solve puzzles. It is a big world and has good vibes. But Bob, there is one thing you did not warn me of that I bet you yourself did not notice.
What's up?
You know, we did all of Pick Month, and somehow you didn't notice the village is just playing the Pikmin theme for nighttime on the planet or whatever.
Oh, is it? Yeah, no,
it's just the cozy vibes song from Pikmin 1.
I'd never get that, no.
It's like, it's also weirdly kind of the leitmotif for the game. And I'm like, this is hilarious. These people made a Zelda core thing and then just went, but the music's Pikmin. Just to be clear.
The music for the forest area in the south is very Zelda-esque.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I was like, it's kind of mid, but is it all Pikmin-like?
It's all built off of that leitmotif that's just straight up Pikmin, but I wouldn't say the rest of it's as Pikmin-like. I do appreciate how the you solved the puzzle. We will now pan the camera to the thing. It's like, imagine, but it's like warbly and low pitch. This game was really quite good. I really appreciate how many systems there are in it. It's like Zelda 2, because there are a lot of systems in it to make yourself stronger in specific ways that would aid you in different ways. There's an absurd amount of upgrades that are just flat. Here, now when this happens, you do this.
Yes.
So, for example, it's a twin stick shooter. It's a Zelda, so big scale. And the right side of your screen will just have 16 or so upgrades that you can find in the world by uncovering things through solving puzzles. That'll be things like when you get hit, you do revenge bullets that hurt the enemy like hell. You can buy at shops upgrades too that are like your pulse ability you'll unlock in the game will stun enemies. Lots of things like that. And you get experience just straight up. When you kill enemies, you collect like blue crystals, and that'll let you upgrade, let's say 10 different stats.
Yeah, like
it's maybe actually more. It's probably like 11 or 12. It's a lot. So those would be things like your boost speed, your movement speed, your bullet speed, your fire rate, your damage, and then things that upgrade your abilities you unlock as you go to do more powerful things. MiniShoot Adventures is really damn cool, Bob.
Yeah.
The first time I heard John Linneman describe it, I was like, oh, that's definitely up my fucking alley. It was funny because I got back to town and you were like, that game, I checked it out. I was like, oh, hell yes. This is a must-do for me. I did not get the 100% ending. I did not get the 100% true boss thing. I did not do that. I just beat the game. You know, for a single sitting, I think that's an okay amount of progress on a video game.
I did actually, between this podcast and last podcast, do the 100% thing.
Okay. Cool.
There's almost no story in this game. Is it okay if I spoil something?
Well, you know how much I love my opportunity to hit this button.
Okay. Your game does not need a Yoko Taro delete your save moment. Basically, no game does. And if you have nothing to say, don't do it. It's really dumb.
Of all the things I expected the true ending to do, that kind of wasn't any of them, but I also see kind of why the lore of it would almost make sense.
Right,
yeah.
like lore-wise, yeah, it kind of makes sense, but you don't really, that's not like a moment for you as a player. Like,
it should have been a Nier Automata.
Yeah, Nier Automata was.
Yeah, it should have been a Nier Automata. I don't know that it would in this if it happened to me.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, like Yoko Taro could do this. Your game that has almost no story does not earn it.
No,
it has literally zero weight.
Because this game isn't like, it's built on vibes and world building through like visuals.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. No.
It would not land us.
No. It's honestly even more preposterous than if they did it in Dark Souls.
I'm just imagining people angry over that. That would be funny.
It would be pretty funny.
Anyway, I'm going to stop. Yeah, MiniShoot Adventures is a really good game.
Yeah, no, it's a great time.
This is the exact sort of game I love doing on the GOTY grind. One of my favorite parts of the GOTY grind is when I get to play a bunch of different smaller games that would have slipped past that all offer unique experiences. And as I was playing this, I was thinking back to years past with the two Zelda-likes that made our list, Death's Door and Kenna.
Yeah.
Two different types of Zelda-likes. Sadly, I think this is the only Zelda-like that's making any like considerations this year, unless I forgot a Zelda-like.
Yeah, like you're not doing Echoes of Wisdom, which it's kind of weird to call Zelda a Zelda-like.
Yeah, that's fucking weird to call Zelda a Zelda-like. Imagine there was a new rogue and they're like, what genre is it? And I just start sweating. Hear me out. It's kind of like Rogue. No, Tunic was last year. Or
the year before. That was a while ago.
I think it was early.
Tunic was a while back.
Like February.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I played it on Game Pass, so it was not last year because I did not have Game Pass for any of last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 2020, March 2022.
Okay, yeah. I
Did
was
it come
like,
out on Switch last year then?
Maybe that's
Is that
it.
why I'm mixing it up? Okay.
I think it might have come out on Switch this year.
well, it wouldn't have been in the last 2 weeks. It wouldn't be this year.
Yeah, everything came out. Everything came out on. It came out on everything in 2022. It's pretty
Okay.
old.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think that was
Chet
new
just
at all.
missed a year of their life. That's all.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's been a
Understandable.
little rough.
We're all having a real one.
Can we just do a do-over and be like, yeah, it's 2020.
I would love to do. We get to roll it all the way back.
Yeah,
to
all
that?
the way back. Just don't do it, man.
I would say something along the lines of, hey, if you could go back to 2020, would you do it again? And part of me is like, the answer should be no, but the other part of me knows if I invested in Nvidia in 2020, I'm doing pretty all right.
Right.
As long as I sell now. As long as I sell now. I'm going to say that again. Because there may be some people in the audience. Remember, we're not a financial advice podcast.
No, absolutely not. We'll never claim to be one.
And I'm just saying, if I went back in time and bought Nvidia stock right now, would be a great time to sell. MiniShoot Adventures is delightful. It is surprising to me how big the world is and how cool the ideas for how you unlock different things are. This game is a refreshing change of pace from AAA style video games that don't respect you as a player at all.
Yeah.
So you have to solve these problems and find the things in the world. It's really great. Highly recommend it. This thing's like what, $10, $15?
Something like that. I think I got on sale for 11, so probably it's 15 normally.
Probably 15 normally. It's made by 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I love shit like that. Anyways, yeah. It's like a sister game to Pixel Junk Shooter, one of my favorite video games of all time. Sure would have been cool if Q Games explored more
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
2D gameplay style things as time went on.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how well this is panning out for them doing the fully realized 3D stuff, but you know, their game may be another I should check out for Game of the Year, but I'm not sure.
I know that they're going to announce something else soon.
They said this year they're announcing at least one new game.
Okay. I really hope it's back to more the Pixel Junk style of
Same.
like 2D and lower fidelity and
Yeah, the Tomorrow
Gameplay
Children,
oriented.
the
Something.
Tomorrow Children 2, and it's a first-person shooter,
something gameplay oriented.
and it's single player
Tomorrow,
only.
2 children.
Yeah, there we go. Tomorrow, 2 children. Yeah, that's good. And it weirdly enough has a gameplay kind of like that 7th gen AAA shooter. I believe Japan made it. I can't remember the name because, oh my God, it's one of those. Where you toss the sidekick at like the mechanic as you can toss them. Because you were a big buff Gears of War-like man, but with spines, I think.
Was that in Quantum Theory you could do
Yeah,
that?
I think Quantum Theory had that mechanic. But that is the game I'm thinking of. I think it had that mechanic.
I think that
Where
might
it's
be the
just like
case.
toss the tiny lass.
Yes, and she's like half his size and
Yeah.
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 Yeah, she's got the sword and he's got the big gun. I want to play that game real bad, but I never did.
We're going to do it someday.
Someday.
Someday we'll get to that. I also played Batman Arkham Shadow, the VR game for Quest, the Quest 3 exclusive. So in Batman
Uh-huh.
Arkham Shadow, if you're looking at an enemy, they will get a circle on them that has a fist in it. And if you throw your arm out while making a fist with your hand, you will zoom to them like Arkham Combat, and you will punch them. And then the next thing it will want you to do, it shuffles up constantly. Maybe you need to do a left hook here. Maybe you need to do a triple punch there. Maybe you need to do all these things. It's really fun and great. And as someone comes up to get you while you're doing that, you will see an icon that is a series of 3 arrows that are blue and a fist.
Oh my God.
That lets you know which way the other goons are attacking you from. And you need to throw your arm out to the side. And when you do that, you will instantly snap your head towards them, parry their hit, and they'll be like, ah, shit. And then you can start pummeling them. I've yet to describe the funniest part of the combat, though. When you successfully beat this shit out of them and knock them onto the ground, they will get the fist icon on them again, right?
Okay.
And they'll slowly be getting up. But if you throw that punch, Batman will leap on him, punch him once, and then it will pop up with the number 5 in a circle, and you need to pound on him like you're throwing a tantrum.
What?
5 times really fast, and then finish with the double fist pound down on him, and that's how you finish characters in that game. What? This is the funniest VR game I've ever played. We need to stream this as a part of Bat Month.
How much have you heard it's the Bat?
That happened pretty fast.
Okay.
But it hasn't happened a ton. It's been really good, though. They know what they're writing.
Okay.
Camouflage knows what this game is and what they're writing, and it's really good because they're like, these goons are sitting there in front of a theater, and they're like, oh, man, I can't remember the last time I went to the theater. Oh, man, this is like a fancy premiere. The other guy's like, it's not a fancy premiere. Do you see Bruce Wayne? And I'm just over them. They absolutely know what they're doing. There is so much comedy in just you put Batman in a VR space, because I'll show up on a rooftop after the bat signal's been lit, and it'll be Commissioner Gordon. He'll be like, Batman, and then I just go up to him and I'm like, shh, quiet. You don't need to be worried anymore. I'm here, Gordon. For you. It's just nonstop, absolutely hilarious to stick a Batman story in a VR space.
Mm-hmm. I'm really curious, since it's camouflage, does it have bad load times?
It does. You can play it and immediately realize.
Okay.
But playing through it is seamless.
Okay.
Completely seamless. You will absolutely get a small walk and talk while you approach a door.
But it doesn't have like a huge boot load time or anything. I'm pretty sure that's what people said Iron Man was like.
Iron Man had constant really bad load times.
Okay.
This only has bad load times when you die.
Okay.
Because you'll get knocked out and you'll like sink into the earth and it'll be like, brrr. And it's funny, the first time I died, I was next to a wall. And then they were like, okay, ragdoll Batman, and play a sound and fade to black. And so Batman melted into the ground and wall. The only thing visible of him by the end of him ragdolling was his ankle. And it was like, and then it fades to black, and then it holds there for a second. And then it does the Arkham thing. So one of the bad guys is there on screen. Is just like, oh, fuck you, Batman. Fuck you. Oh. I don't know why he's Paul F. Tompkins.
He'd be a very good Batman villain.
He would. I don't.
He kind of is.
He kind of is, yeah. I'm trying to think of Condiment King? I don't know. One moment.
You just want Condiment King. It doesn't matter who he's playing.
I mean, at this point, yeah, I'll take the who knows? Maybe by the end of that game, Condiment King shows up. That game's pretty quirky. It's great.
Paul F. Tompkins would either be the fucking calendar guy. I don't remember what he's called.
He's like Calendar Man.
Calendar Man? Oh, the King of Calendars is the Venture Brothers.
Yes.
Or he'd just roll up and call himself the other Riddler just to piss him off.
It's me, the other Riddler. Okay.
I believe you.
Let me see your riddles. It's more of a stand-up routine.
You'll never stand up to my tight 5, Batman.
Yeah, and then you'll hit to continue, and then it'll do it again. It'll hold on black a little bit longer than you'd want it to, like just 5-6 seconds, and then you're back in. So in this game, you're taking down, I believe his name. I'm not a Batman super knowledgeable Bat fan or anything. I think his name's Ratfuck. So you take down this villain called Ratfuck, and he's got these rat-like communication devices elsewhere that spread his propaganda. So imagine Batman's just walking into these back rooms, ripping a fucking radio relay out of the wall and smashing it on the ground, and they're like, congratulations, you got one of 40 Ratfuck communication devices.
I could see a villain in the 90s comic being named that. Maybe not one published by DC, though.
Yeah, probably. Well,
man, that Garth Ennis run of Batman was weird.
So there's a lot of goofy shit like that. The funniest part is I hit one that was the peak absurdity. So I'm using detective vision, and I see through a wall. There's one of these communication relays. I bust down the wall. There are, I shit you not, I'm not exaggerating, jungle gym style bars on the ceiling so I can climb over because it's too high to reach this thing from the ground. I'm I'm climbing over so that I can rip it single-handedly out of the wall and smash it to the ground. It's like, for a 40! And I'm like, this game is so fucking hilarious. Sony absolutely should have stuck with camouflage to make a game. Because if they had just shipped the PSVR 2 with the Horizon thing, the Star Wars Super Fancy Edition, and something from camouflage like this, which, reminder, there's precedence, the Iron Man thing was on PSVR 1. That was Sony supported.
Right, it was Sony supported, but it was a PSVR 1 that came out super late, so nobody knew it even existed.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate they didn't stick around and try and get another deal.
Yeah,
because
Batman's
obviously
they're owned by Meta now, so.
Oh, that would do it. Yeah.
So I hope that Batman game comes to PSVR 2. I would say comes to other platforms, but PC VR is a nightmare hellscape.
Sure seems to be.
That's what devs tell me too. I've seen devs just not even talking to me specifically, but out there just talking about, oh yeah, the foundations of VR on PC are fucking disintegrating. These standards suck.
That's
So every
really
time
important.
someone's like, why doesn't the PSVR 2 do eye tracking on PC? And I'm like, well, that requires an API. And they can't use the pre-existing one because that's a proprietary one made by HTC.
Oh, cool.
So Sony would have to make their own API on PC for eye tracking and then try to get it to consistently work in the PC ecosystem consistently across multiple headsets. That seems like a fucking nightmare. I don't know. It sucks anyways. But yeah, I hope this comes to other things. I think it's $50. It's definitely worth it. It really feels like, because apparently I played an hour and a half of the game. I underestimated how exhausting it could be to just flail non-stop in a video game. This isn't like even your normal VR flailing non-stop. This is practically Beat Saber tier.
That makes sense with as much punching as you described.
Yeah, no, I like by the end of a battle, you may punch 100 times because there are so many goons. They're just coming in out of nowhere even.
That makes sense with the Arkham combat. If they're trying to take inspiration, that was just like, man, this fight's still going. So often. This guy's taking like 100 punches.
Well, like, along with it being Arkham Combat, the idea of how that looks from the outside, of you're going to attack Batman, and in one frame, his hand is now between you and him, and his head is snapped around to look directly at you.
Yes! This game would be the funniest game to ever see a third-person camera in VR, I guarantee it, because you're playing VR stuff, right? So naturally, when you're not doing anything with your arms, you're hanging them by their sides. So I need you to imagine fucking Batman walking around like this. Because that's what you would see. You would just see fucking Batman with his arms down by his sides, just stomping around sewers and shit. Absolute funniest fucking thing you could imagine if they get a third person camera in that game.
Wasn't the first PSVR Batman thing, wasn't that made by
That's made by Rocksteady.
Yeah, that was the original. That's weird.
They were trying to stall while they figured out what their next game was. Maybe they should have kept doing that with smaller games.
Yeah.
Because what they arrived at was incorrect, as it turns out. Is it funnier than Batman Dark Tomorrow? I would say there is a really good chance it's funnier. These two are the two funniest Batman games ever fucking made.
Right?
By a mile. By a mile.
Now, I know no one would ever actually do it for reasons, but I feel like if you're going to make a Batman game in first person, if you're going to lose that layer of separation between the character and the audience, I should at all times be able to turn my head and see the vision of Thomas and Martha Wayne screaming at me that people like this are the reason they're dead.
That may happen by the end of the game because it has Arkham in the title. I really think they probably wouldn't have gone with the villain if recent events had occurred early enough for it to influence development.
Oh.
I'm just saying maybe Rat King has some ideas about how we solve the police serving the rich exclusively and what we do to solve that.
He might have some good ideas.
He might have some good ideas. And I'm like, one moment. Let's listen to the Rat Man for a second here. He's got some ideas. Yeah, no, it's all I could think is that because Meta owns the developer, and something tells me modern Meta would maybe be like, oh, yeah, can you make this Batman game less woke? Yeah, it's I'm having a good time. I'm having a really good time. This is that exact tier of AAA VR game that I think really serves all needs, right? It's really interactive and fun to play in a VR space, but it also represents what you would think of as a standard 7th gen game. It's a single player experience that lasts about 8 hours that keeps throwing ideas at you and mixing the gameplay up.
That makes a lot of sense for a VR game, you know?
The ideal 7th gen game. Unlike Ground Penis Simulator, where you need to lower the debris out of the way and raise up the light mirror because they ran out of shit to do with it. And LucasArts is like, final levels light puzzles. We made a ground boner video game and we don't know what we're doing anymore. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Definitely wait for a sale, and maybe I'll put my referral code in the description for this big thing because Meta does that. They're like,
that makes
you can
sense.
use this referral code, and if somebody buys it with that, then you get this. I forget what this is even. I'll be honest, every time I buy a game and they offer that for me, I X out of it immediately because I don't care. But I actually think this game's really good and someone might buy it, so I don't know. I barely buy shit on my Quest, so I don't even fucking... It's $70 of meta credit. Whoa. Why would they give me $70 to recommend a game? What? The game was $50. 5 face bucks? I like that idea. Yeah, what are you talking about? Aggro's always looked like that. Oh, 70 Canadian. Sorry, I thought we were talking real money.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to the thing I think everyone's waiting for. Unless you have any more questions about Batman.
No.
You don't have any questions about Batman?
I think it's really funny that a character like Rat King gets to be the main villain of a Batman video game. A character I've never heard of once before now.
This dude's awesome, though. I really genuinely appreciate him in this game. Like, I don't know how he is in other media. But he has been great to have in this.
I think he showed up in the original Teen Titans series.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember him.
I don't want to get out of the Batman segment without at least showing the image. Because I would like to believe that Bruce Wayne is fucking soy jacking as he points at this cracking picture. It's really funny. We're not quite at the tier of PS4 graphics in this game. Not quite there. You know how PS4 VR looks surprisingly good? So, like, imagine something a little bit less good than PS4 VR.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it comes off. It looks quite nice. At no point does it look bad, but you notice a lot of flat surfaces. Art crafting wise, the art direction stuff is all really good though. It's funny though because close your eyes, imagine like Arkham Knight, how the city looks in that. And now I'm going to tell you a scene that happens. Batman's up there on the rooftop. They made a special headquarters to work out of that isn't the main police, Gotham PD, because he can't trust the other cops. Gordon can't.
Right, of course not.
And then people crawled onto the rooftop and spray painted it and called it pigsty. But I'm sitting on top of the pigsty with Commissioner Gordon, and we're looking out on the city. He's like, sometimes if I squint, I can see the city that's worth protecting still. And I'm like, bro, all we can see is one street. Because
that's it. That's all that's worth protecting still.
Just this
They
part.
can't even put a JPEG.
Well, it's like the buildings go so high that you can't even like pretend we can see more than them because it can't render that much. It's the fucking Quest 3.
But why not put you like on a tall building and use a JPEG for like a skybox of a city, like an image?
No.
That's too hard, I guess. Even though the fucking
You eventually end up high up, which is so funny. Okay, let me describe this encounter, this puzzle. So Batman sometimes has a little difficulty hookshotting up to the top of things. Sometimes Batman needs to platform around and climb around to get between areas. So what happens is I see an area up here where the villains obviously are. I use my detective vision and can see that. And there's a crane off in the middle of this section. So imagine the section I'm in is like a Tetris L block. Okay, and there's a crane out here in the middle of that. So I jump out to the crane, and then Batman throws the levers and stuff to make the crane move and lift up and lower and all this stuff. And I platform off of it, and then I get a collectible. I get one of the Rat King statues, and I smash it on the ground because I fucking hate that guy. And then I realized, oh, this was just for the collectible. I got to move it again to reach the place I need to go to. So I go back to the crane, and it's a crane. It's so loud. It's like an actual piece of construction equipment. So it's just like, and there are 7 goons watching the crane slowly turn towards them and lower. And then Batman doing the walk I was just doing with his arm down by his side, walks up, and then they go, oh my God, it's the Bat. I'm like, what did you fucking expect? What did you, like, it was clearly lining up with you, and you think you would have looked the first time when Batman lined it up with the thing next to you.
Yeah, that's really funny.
It is enormously funny. This game is it's so fucking funny. I know that's probably not their intention, but it's good, and I would change nothing. And now I'm ready to move on. Bob.
Yeah.
You and I played the video game that never was. The video game that no one knows about. The Transmedia event.
Was a story world.
With a all-cap story world. We played Unknown 9 Awakening.
Keyword played.
Turns out Unknown 9 is based on The Nine Unknown Men, a book from 1923. So it is a public domain thing that got a push for a transmedia thing in 2020. At the beginning of the year, the first book of the 3 books came out. There are 2 scripted podcast seasons. There are 2 live-action web series. 3 books, I just said that. 1 video game. Did I miss anything?
How many comics?
Comic book.
Yeah, comic book.
A comic book. 8 issues of comic books.
You know, it makes sense that we're seeing all this push for AI because stuff like this is like going to human beings and saying, make something an AI would generate.
Yeah, it feels like most creative industries under the crushing force of late-stage capitalism are just being forced to do that year after year forever. This thing's so transparent and terrible, we hit the end of the first level and I knew what the plot of the entire game was. We then played 8 hours of some of the worst combat we've ever done in a video game because it's Remember Me, but with no depth. And Third Birthday, but with no depth of ideas. With this strategy layer of it, of like, which boils down to, you can jump into enemies, so jump into that enemy and make him stab the other enemies, and then jump into another enemy and make them shoot or stab all the other enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, these are like moves you set up, and then you watch it play out. And this is it. We played 8 hours of this game. There were 4 hours left. There's no money for cutscenes. They didn't light the cutscenes. The cutscenes happen where they happen in the environment, and the environment's lighting is whatever Lumens decided it was. Because this is an Unreal Engine 5 game, baby, and it's 30 frames per second capped. If you want to see the downfall of AAA gaming in a game, might I recommend Unknown 9 Awakening? The story is very young adult novel core, parentheses, derogatory. As I said, we hit the end of the first level, and I knew what the fucking entire arc of the game's cool reveals would be. And after we just stopped streaming because you only have a limited time on this planet, and frankly, it's not about us. It was about the 300 people who are watching, where I'm like, you deserve better. I'm just turning this off so you go find something better to do. I watched the ending. It is exactly the worst it could have been.
Yeah.
I was stunned as this game effortlessly parried every attempt you made to potentially finish it. It's like, well, we'll invest in the better stealth options so it'll go easier. As soon as you started doing that, stealth sequences stopped.
Yeah, no, just completely hard stop.
Like a light switch, because they teamed us up with the dude who just yells at the beginning of every encounter, gets the attention of every enemy, and these encounters are seamlessly going into each other. So he does it at the very beginning. Bob has to deal with 15 guys.
Yeah. There's no going back into hiding. This isn't a good stealth game.
And you cannot respec the skill tree.
No.
And you cannot change the difficulty.
Yeah, that was the one that's insane. That is... I struggle to think of the last game that I played, me personally, where you couldn't do that was the fucking Kingdom Hearts collection. The ones that initially launched on PS3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like, how... Like one of the most basic accessibility features in any game, and you just don't have it.
And for what this game is and the crowd it's going for, that's an obvious understood expectation. So it's even weirder that it doesn't have it. Like,
yeah,
right,
how do you pump up the story world so much? Like, you picked normal. That's too hard for you. Go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Guess you're not going to see our brilliant ending. And I'm like, oh, I saw your brilliant ending from 7 hours ago, sir. Yeah, this game truly came and went. This was one of the games of 2024. We needed to play it in order to have knowledge for Game of the Year, because everyone else was going to pass it up forever. What do you remember any of the statistics chat right out for the Steam charts? It was something like the peak player count was 214.
The peak player count was like something like 247. Like it was 1/3 of a Concord.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. What they made is just completely.
The only place that anyone watching the stream had ever seen it before, and like keep in mind this first group larger than the second. First group, a Tekken tournament, because Namco Bandai, Namco Ramco, published this. The second group is apparently rage baiting right-wing anti-woke YouTubers tried to make videos out of this. I assume
and nobody cared.
Right, no one cared.
Because look at the game.
Like, it's the same thing that happened with Concord, where like they revved up and it's like, and then they went, wait, what do you mean literally nobody gives a shit? Literally no one at all. And then they just kind of slink off back to under that rock.
Yeah. So that's that game is truly tasteless. It's like eating cardboard for 12 hours.
Oh, we did come up with a fun stream bit.
So, yeah, you know what? Let me show the image here, too, so we can immortalize it here, too. I put it out on Blue Sky, but, you know, I think it's enormously funny. One moment. That's not the image I was looking for, but now it's on screen. Here you go. I found you a buddy, Aggro.
Oh, my God.
Nvidia got this into The Last of Us Part 2. Thanks, Nvidia.
This looks like the cover of a bad stoner comedy.
Oh, God. Oh.
Do you think they'll get
3 viewers on Poodoo?
Do you think Nvidia will be able to implement this technology into The Last of Us Season 2?
I guarantee somebody's going to hack it into The Last of Us Part 2 on PC.
So I believe Chris made the joke and Aggro made the comic, because the TAA was melting everything in this game. It is the worst it has ever been. So this was the joke. I thought this was enormously funny, and this stream needed something, because oh my God. So on my way to get the pizza, I got a bell. And now whenever TAA pisses me off, I just hit the bell. Bob,
Yeah.
do you know how funny Spiff thought that was during the tail end of 7 Rebirth? As I'm just like, cutscene, really quick action, then I just go... and then say nothing. I say nothing. I just bop it real quick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, man, I bet Tosha's gonna get really fucking annoyed by this bell. But no, the first day it was in the house and she was awake, she was just like using it herself for her own funny bits. So I think we're all benefiting. Yeah, I really appreciated all the responses I got to the me showing off the difference between the normal version of 7 Rebirth and the PS5 Pro version. Because I'll just tell the story I did on that stream too, or in that tweet too. So I was trying to show Tosh because the Nvidia announcements got me talking about graphics technology for reasons we'll go into later. And I was trying to show Tosh what the PS5 Pro was doing to make 7 Rebirth look so much better. So I have the PS5 Pro mode on. I'm like, okay, look really closely at the water, and when I pan, you'll see a faint silhouette around cloud. This is ghosting caused by temporal AA. And she's like squinting, and she can just barely make it out because it is really hard. It's genuinely, even with the still frame, you got to see it in motion. You have to see it in slow mo, and I would probably have to enhance the video for most people to be able to see it because the PS5 Pro does that good of a job. Then I turned on the normal version of 7 Rebirth, and I'm like, okay, and try now. And she sounded like a truck hit her. Like, because she was having to try so hard to see the silhouette before, and then that, and then the fucking Devastan or whatever. Hell of a difference. Hell of a difference. So yeah, by the end of playing 7 Rebirth, I am sadly, as the man with the TAA bell, pretty. I've come to terms with me buying the PS5 Pro. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that does seem like the only use case, period.
When someone makes their game graphically correct at all, I agree. Because it literally can't save devs that won't save themselves.
Right.
Because fucking look at that! Anyway. So yeah, I think going forward, we'll probably see games that are a lot closer to 7 Rebirth using it than, there's...
Yeah, when you have it as a base to work off from the ground up.
Giant AAA fuck-ups that we keep saying implement it, and it looks terrible and radioactive.
But they have the cutting-edge tech, and they're the biggest developers. Certainly, they implemented everything correctly.
Of course.
There's definitely not years of experience at this point of Western AAA games coming out and being really fucking broken at launch and taking years to polish up. Anyways, I'm sure someday the pisser mode in Star Wars Jedi Survivor will look immaculate.
No,
Star Wars Outlaws, though.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these games are ever going to get fixed. I think we're just in for like an entire gen of AAA games that look bad forever.
Oh yeah, no. I'm especially on the PS5 normal. Like the PS5 normal's fucked. We finally got enough rendering power, and then every developer just went, but if I use this completely half-baked technology, I can ruin image quality now for the notion of infinite scalability.
Right.
So as I say this and as I make these points, I want you all to imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 is a game designed for Unreal Engine 5 that we do not know when it's coming, that they haven't shown, that they haven't talked about in coming up on, is it 2 or 3 years?
I think it's 3, isn't it?
I think it's 3 years. And the scalability of Unreal Engine 5 is notionally there, but not actually. I don't know. At one point in time, I would have been like, well, yeah, Unreal Engine 5 is supposed to be really scalable. Of course it will be on the Switch too.
They will drop that shit back to Unreal Engine 4 to get it on the Switch too. With how Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth went sales-wise, I will be fucking shocked if Square Enix ever releases a game only on high-end platforms ever fucking again.
I sincerely hope you are correct.
Because I don't know what the plan is. What is the plan otherwise? Let's just kill ourselves. Let's just slash our own throats.
Yes.
Like at some point, like you can't. But see, at that point, they wouldn't recognize the problem. I feel like, and they've clearly recognized the problem. So I feel like that has to end to.
Well,
we need to stop this.
I haven't seen the action that shows that they recognize the problem yet, but I have heard them say things where they're like, "We need to stop being exclusive to a console." I think there's a level at which they might just continue. Because keep in mind, they've done all the work so far on Unreal Engine 5, right? There's
maybe.
I feel like they wouldn't have. You have to get to about the point we are now to see that there is simply a level of optimization that isn't possible with nanite lumens and these other things to get it looking better on low-end hardware. The scalability is notionally there for the Switch 2, but it will look like a melting AI nightmare at that resolution. Because the thing that a lot of people in the tech industry, weirdly enough, don't keep in mind is the lower your resolution, both internally and externally, the worse DLSS and temporal AA solutions look because they have fewer real pixels to work from. So maybe the Unreal Engine 5 can run Kingdom Hearts 4 at 30 frames per second on the Switch 2. Anyway, what I'm saying is I feel like you are correct. The correct move would be to rip out all the shit that's UE5 exclusive, which is a lot of it was already evident in that trailer. Like a lot of it was already clearly that, and that was because the higher end visuals is the point, right? If that wasn't the point, we would have Kingdom Hearts 4 by now. There's no other reason it would take an insanely long time.
I guess with Kingdom Hearts, there's always the risk of Disney shoving their nose in and being like, "What do you mean you're not going to make our game that has all our IPs, including Star Wars, look as best as it possibly would? We don't care about any other part of it."
Yeah, I worry.
And considering the way the past year worked, Disney's going to shove their nose in, being like, "What's that woman doing there? Get rid of her."
Oh no! They're like, sorry, we asked you for Kingdom Hearts. Why did you put this woman in? And they're like, her name's Kyrie.
That sounds woke. Get rid of her.
Tell the Nvidia GPU to fix her into being a man.
I was like, Tosh, look at this. These morons. They're using this technology to yassify women's faces, and yet they can't do the simple thing of just let me have a butt slider. AI, bigger. That would, there's no uncanny valley there. Problem solved. Yeah, I don't know. I'll say what I said when the first trailer came out for Kingdom Hearts 4 years ago at this point. I legitimately just wanted another game the same fidelity as Kingdom Hearts 3 that just ran perfect on console.
Yeah, that game already looked plenty good, yeah.
Yeah, no, that game still looks great.
Yeah.
Like, one of the ways that I'm, like, really kind of doomering on Square Enix just being totally on the Galaxy gas is, like, why has there not been a Switch Kingdom Hearts spinoff using like the KH2 assets? Those look insane at even 1080, much less 4K.
So here's why.
Because people complain too much about it, or because Disney doesn't want that, or both, or they're just stupid.
I think what they would rather do is do something with the Kingdom Hearts 3 assets, Melody of Memory being an example of that.
That uses a lot of PS2 stuff, though.
But it's built in Unreal Engine. Wait.
No, I think that's in Unity or something.
It's Unity. How bizarre. But
yeah, that was on Switch.
What I was going to say is a lot of these things aren't maybe in the current... Right, and that's my point. My point is a lot of these things aren't in the current code base of like Unreal Engine, which is what they're making their games in by and large. I think if the Switch was more capable of running an 8th gen Unreal Engine game easily, then they would have done something. But the problem is that isn't quite that capable. Now we're entering in an uncanny situation where it's like, the Switch 2 is plenty powerful. If you use Unreal Engine 5 stock features, it will be a nightmare. Because again, Unknown 9 Awakening is 30 frames per second cap for a reason. It turned on all the toggles and just left them as is, which is what countless developers the world over do. Silent Hill 2 is an example of that exact sort of thing of like, they don't have an internal team that drastically optimizes this shit.
Mm-hmm. Black Myth Wukong sitting over there like, yeah, neither do we.
Right. Yeah. No, Black Myth Wukong doesn't have that either. And it's really unfortunate. I think the sales story of the Switch 2 is going to be one that makes some reconsiderations get made, but I'm just concerned.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 3 looked great. I just wanted them to do another game of that fidelity.
Because all the stuff they've said so far has been getting off, stopping doing multi-console or single console releases. Yeah. So it could just mean Xbox, which would be like, after you see the sales from this year.
I had a conversation the other day. They did already announce that for Xbox. So even that wouldn't be new. That would just be following through because when they announced that, the Xbox had a prayer in their eyes.
Right.
Yeah, there's not even gonna fucking be an Xbox when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out.
No, but there will be, and it will be a phone.
Well, yeah, everything's a fucking Xbox. That coffin's an Xbox. The garbage can is an Xbox. It's all a fucking Xbox.
My city has a giant Xbox, Phil.
But there's no way that Square Enix can look at all the games they've released in the past 2 years onto Xbox, which is like they released Visions of Mana. They got outright fucking tricked into releasing Final Fantasy 14 onto Xbox. That's going to be something that's just a millstone around their neck financially for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dragon Quest III remake. And I can't imagine them not looking at the sales and being like, why'd we fucking do this?
Yeah,
we got nothing.
You'd think that would tell them that, but maybe they're like, but Final Fantasy 16 would have done it.
They honestly may internally make excuses of like, well, Visions of Mana wasn't the hit we wanted it to be. That wasn't a brand that we see as an Xbox core title. And then all the other things were old.
This is making
even technically Dragon Quest 3 is an old game, but
yeah, it sold great on every other platform. But just coincidentally, there happens to be an excuse every single time for the Xbox version.
Yes, 100%.
I don't think a Japanese company is going to be that charitable towards Xbox. I think a Western company might.
I think it's possible in the understanding that Square Enix has been really drilling down on focusing on Western fans. Like 16 is definitely an example of that. For
16 sure is that, and maybe they ought to be reconsidering that.
They should.
Yeah.
No, I'm there with you. Yes. In a perfect world, they see what's happening and what the sales story is, and pivot some fucking shit. Because Xbox is gonna get you no sales. The Switch 2 will get you way more fucking sales.
I like I said, I genuinely struggle to picture. Like, again, you can't adjust for incompetence. But if there's any rationality at all, I can't imagine these companies going like, we can ship a game that runs at 30 FPS and more and looks okay on the Switch 2, and everybody loves us on PlayStation because it runs so much better and looks so much better, or we cannot do that and kill ourselves.
Yeah. It's the problem here is a momentum-based problem, and also them having the vision to understand how the Unreal Engine. Because here's the thing: what we're living through right now, and I really need to stress this, it is Unreal Engine 3 again. That's what we're living through right now. Unreal Engine 5 is just the same shit that happened with 3 again. They're tricking a bunch of developers into thinking they could get a performant game that looks really great and is easy to make, and then it's none of those. I saved so much money by making my game on Unreal Engine 5. I doubt that.
Tim Sweeney really does need to go to hell. Unreal Engine 4 was fine. You ruined all this shit for nothing.
Yeah, no, like Big Think's track record is being a huge proponent of Unreal Engine 4. And then 5 came out. And then we saw how 5's working out.
Yeah, and they were like, here's all our features. It doesn't actually make your game look better and makes it run worse.
And here's the best part. Moore's Law is dead, so it's not like the next console's horsepower will fix this.
Yeah, there's
also, they invented a third fucking technology, megalights. Bro, we haven't even shipped a game with nanite and lumens that runs like great other than Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals, by the way, the most put together Unreal Engine 5 game. How amazing is that?
That is weird.
Unknown 9 Awakening is an important thing to look at to understand a number of things that can go wrong with an easy-to-use engine with the latest cutting-edge technology. The thing was, half-baked 7th-gen games look better than Unknown 9 Awakening.
It was astonishing to look at a game that I would swear to Batman came out in 2008 have all of these modern visual problems.
Yeah, no, it does just have it sits in a bizarre space that nothing else really can without that exact level of, the dev didn't know what they were doing. Like, that's the only thing that can come from, or that can make this.
Yeah.
Like, none of the lighting works right. I think it's really funny that the combat is literally like trying to be God of War 2018. Desperately. Like, playing it was like, oh, you even have the parry like in that has the same animation. but it's a bizarre 7th gen nightmare version of it. It's so weird and backwards.
It's crazy that like legitimately they added a third birthday layer, they added this other weird strategy layer, and then they have this melee combat and I go, I'd rather play Remember Me.
Yeah.
Like that combat, it's not brilliant, but at least it has an idea. It follows it through to its logical, which logical's doing a lot of lifting here. Conclusion. It's inevitable conclusion.
Man, Remember
and
Me
that
looked
feels
better.
Yeah, it did.
A PS3 360 game.
A late gen PS3
better.
360 game looked drastically
From a
better.
tiny developer.
And God knows this game cost so much more. So what are we doing here?
I don't know.
What are we doing here was almost the subtitle of that whole stream. What are we doing here?
Hey, did you ever figure out how or why her ripping souls out of random people worked?
And that's her power.
That was the thing.
God
That's
damn
her
it.
power.
She was passing her hand through their rift. She was peeking into their spine.
Yeah, she can tear our souls and destroy them.
She was folding their spine. I got nothing. Sorry, Aloy. Let's see. I don't have anything else to say about that, do you?
No, not really. There really wasn't much to say.
I'm glad we streamed it. I genuinely believe there was no value in us beating the game.
No, we'd seen everything the game had.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, it is worth noting the moment we decided to make that executive decision was Bob did this absolutely grueling combat gauntlet to retread an environment he already went through, but now Dip Sith the Wise was with him to let them know where every enemy, like, hey, what's up? I'm here. Stealth encounters disabled, entire skill tree points wasted. Bob gets to the end of this encounter and it soft locks because it made one of the enemies invincible on accident.
Mm-hmm. Just fully invincible.
Seriously, found in a canister.
Yes.
What are we fucking doing here anymore?
What are we doing?
Like I thought people need to. We have games. These top levels of games are now being smoothed down into an oblique sphere with no features whatsoever. They're still buggy. They just have nothing for anyone. And people are wondering, like, why is the industry collapsing? It's because you got to the point where you're so scared of putting anybody off and making less money, you have become incapable of making a product that can make money.
Yeah, same thing happens in the movie industry.
Yeah, and now that we mentioned that, I will just be more specific on the plot thing. You play as a young lady, and she has a mother-like figure with her that raised her, and she has powers, and she taught you your powers. And in the beginning of the game, an evil white dude who has real what do you call this? People who go on a safari hunt or whatever? Just real tourist I kill for joy sort of energy about him, vibes about him. Kills the mom figure. This is the opening act of the game. As the game continues, you find out that maybe he's just misguided and misunderstands. He's trying to stop the cycle that the unknown nine are in. Like, you know, he's trying to fight fate and he can't maybe, and maybe it's important that he doesn't. And they got real. Thanos needs to have a reason to do this vibes to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna play the spoiler song. So of course the end of the game is that your mom figure didn't fully pass away, not really. She's going to give you her last message, seemingly, where she explains that you were the person who attached her humanity because, of course, she was one of the unknown nine.
Oh my
Shock! She was one of the unknown nine, and because of her love for you, she grew attached to humanity. But it is now time for you to ascend to the throne. You then become one of the unknown nine. You have awakened to it. Every angle of this game's writing is the most, I'm gonna pray that you write a real hook and character to anyone in this story, please, for the love of God.
That might alienate someone, Dan.
It might.
Did you know that that's literally the reason why so many big movies became like we're doing the sky laser and monsters are coming out of the sky laser? It's because that is quote unquote universal.
You need broad menaces that are alien. So anyways, I'm excited.
Not alien menaces who are broads.
One moment. One moment. There's something there. On a related note, I'm happy to announce the new GigaBoots film production studio where all of our movies are based, and sometimes the bad guy's just a racist. And so he deserves to get thrown in a trash compactor because racists deserve to get thrown in a trash compactor.
Just that scene from Rumble in the Bronx with the wood chipper.
Yes!
Yeah. Okay.
The entire, there are two virtues of this studio. One, we will film people in a location saying words in a real space and not on a green screen.
Part-time.
And two, part-time. Two, murder's really based, so we're gonna kill people who are bad guys because they're just shitty human beings. Because guess what? Some people are shitty human beings.
We somehow like shot past villains being sympathetic into the way more bizarre like mewling about it. Like Kong Skull Island.
Uh-huh.
Not the villain, not the fucking monster, but the military guy.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of sympathetic, but the movie still goes in the angle of, well, yeah, but he needs to die.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's sad that he was broken by Vietnam, but he's doing wicked shit and needs to go.
Yeah, no, he's literally, he's like a fusion, because the PTSD part of him is the thing that gives him humanity, but he is just the personification of the military-industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to go. Yeah, I'm serious. I think there's a giant craving among all people everywhere for based fucking movies that just fucking kill a guy because he's a goddamn piece of shit.
Yeah, it's part of the reason people like the Deadpool movies.
Yes. That is part of the reason people like the Deadpool movies. They're like, kill Deadpool again. He's annoying me. Crush his bones. You hear me out though. What if we made a movie and there was a bad guy who wasn't a guy, but it was a woman, and she was like a muscle mommy and evil? I think people might want to watch that even if we kill her at the end. I think people might be interested in that. Just a theory. I don't.
No, that's getting a little too close to Neil Druckmann's proclivities.
No, I just have a bad guy who's a buff woman. That's it. That's the only similarity here. It's not like, well, we're going to make a really brilliant statement about the cycle of violence. It's like, no, she's going to like do something evil, and then we're going to kill her for it. We need more movies that are just willing to do that. There were a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s that were just that.
I've been watching old kung fu movies and stuff from the 80s and early 90s. They have such incredible proclivity to, it's over. Cut the credits. Yes. Freeze frame here. We're done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kung fu movies know how to fucking end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like, it's so good. You can sometimes just have the main bad guy's been blown to literal smithereens by a shotgun.
Yes!
And then they're like, we're going to have to arrest you. And they grab the cop and it freezes frame.
And that's what people want.
Yes.
Yeah, police story like freeze frames as Jackie Chan is wailing on that politician.
Yes! And that's what people want. At a certain point, if you just make that, it doesn't matter how shitty your production values are. People will just be happy to fucking feel a thing while watching your goddamn movie.
What is it? I think A24 is known for doing more like indie rough stuff like that. And they are gaining popularity very quickly.
Yes. That's true. The people crave it. My brain was like crossing all of these stupid film jokes, like movie studio jokes over the last couple of weeks. And I'm just like, and that's why Isolation 120 will feature May Nock as a buff, tall woman. like, oh my God, Madoc, I didn't know you to be so fucking strong. She's like, kill yourself.
Choke me yourself, you coward.
This is so that's why it's foreshadowing when the main character of our movie is 5'9". You should have seen this coming, that you would just be like, oh, a tall woman. Yeah, okay, go ahead, strangle me. This is great. Holy shit. Jesus.
I need an entire remake of Resident Evil Village with the cast of Isolation 119.
You should not cross Ethan with the main character of Isolation 119. Have you seen my wife? She's in the hospital. She hurt herself. My brother who tried to kill himself is in a jar now. Why is he in a jar? Anyway. I'm just saying, people act like making movies that are appealing to people's heart. No.
Yeah, the execs seemingly don't want to do it though. Yeah. So that now it's hard.
Now it's hard.
Well,
it's hard
appealing to someone puts off somebody else. So we have to make movies. We have to make movies that everybody in existence thinks is a 6.8.
And I'm fucking done with that. I have a legitimate question about this though. Okay. Do you think you could run a Patreon for a movie studio with the mission statement that is ours if the whole thing is like, oh, you get behind the scenes updates, but at the beginning of every behind the scenes update video or otherwise, we literally go, don't watch this before the movie. You'll spoil the movie. Watch the fucking movie when it comes out in 8 months because, motherfucker, we're not making art here. We're making films where we explode motherfuckers. It will come out in 8 months or less.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think so?
It's never been tried, so who knows?
Who knows? Somebody should find out. I don't have a whole lot to say about this next game for reasons that I think are obvious, but maybe they aren't. I also beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I sure did that in a week.
Right?
A little bit less
impressive.
While also getting Game of the Year ready and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fucking shocked.
It was a lot. It was a lot to get done in that amount of time. And the PS5 Pro sure got appreciated a lot more by the end of me playing that game than I thought it would.
Like, no other game seems like that level of upgrade.
Well, when most of your games are noisy nightmares. Because here's the thing. I think I mentioned this last week, but it's relevant again, so I'll bring it up again. Digital Foundry did that video where they talked to engineers at Call of Duty who worked on the latest Call of Duty, and they're like, well, the denoising in Pisser isn't really tuned to work on the level that our engine needs. And I'm like, I'm sorry, back that up. So your engine's outputting noise and the problems with your engine, and you're fixing that. That's good. And that's how I feel a lot of this is turning out, right? A lot of this is these people just threw really noisy images into the pipeline and thought TAA would smear it across multiple frames. So when Sony finishes engineering Pisser after 4 years and ships the PS5 Pro, they go, "What? Why is it showing that?" It's like, I don't know. Why are you rendering it? Fuck, dude. Motherfucker, you ordered the sandwich. Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about without it just being a spoiler thing.
Right.
Expect 7 Rebirth to come up during Game of the Year. Multiple times. Like a certain person who wants to call me and just talk nonstop until I kill the enemy because they're like, hey, you remember that part of Metal Gear Solid 4 where after you kill the boss, you get multiple paragraphs about the person? It's an emotional backstory. What if it was just me, like, reading a Wikipedia page for this enemy right now? Anyways, in the early days of man, and I'm just like, oh my God! Block this phone number! Please tell me that's not... No! Why does Vinny Vinesauce have a Chadley emote? No! No, it's made from the opening and closing mouth loop that's on the screen.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's terrible.
Great.
Oh my God. Oh, it's like a fucking flesh Pac-Man. I don't like it. That's terrible. Vinny, why? But that's I think that's all that I've been playing.
Okay.
I only beat 2 video games.
That's all.
Started a third one, and then we streamed the other one, the fourth one, for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then went, oh, I know how this ends. It ain't worth the chat. We're shutting it down. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
What have you been playing?
I played a few things. I was going to bring up that I played Tekken 8. Played it online.
Uh-huh.
I was once again jump scared by Clive.
Okay.
Because it pops up with just the names first, and they draw the C so wide. I was like, Olive? Who's that?
It's olive oil. She's fucking had enough.
A C only half as wide as him.
That's pretty fucking wide.
But there were not that many people playing, so I ended up fighting the same person over and over again. And I was like, oh, they're on Xbox. And I had the thought of like,
oh my God.
Final Fantasy 16 feels like it was made for a fictional Xbox crowd that would have existed back in the 360 era. Like, that's exactly where it is. Like, oh no,
that is a direct correlation.
Uh-huh.
That I'm fighting this Xbox player here. Also, it's funny they can play as Clive.
That's so depressing. That's so depressing. I'm just imagining the saddest person who's like, I can't play the fucking game, but I can play as Clive in this. It's fine.
Honestly, good for them.
Yeah, I'm
better experience.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe it is fine.
That also made me think about, man, Final Fantasy 16 was more impactful for Ben Starr than it was for Square Enix.
100%.
Good for him.
Could you imagine Ben's like Square Enix stonks went up as much as Ben's?
Right?
This is great. Which good for Ben.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I wish the Xenoblade Chronicles 3N guy got as huge of a buff as Ben did. He did get a buff.
Yeah, he got a buff.
Not quite Ben Starr.
And I think that him and Ben Starr are doing a podcast.
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. They're both like British voice actors who like are doing stuff together. It's great. It's great. Hey, the Ben Starr, I'm pretty sure there are 2 R's in that last name. Please put some respect on that, chat. Thank you. Yeah, no. I hope. I'm really excited for the next Xenoblade thing. I know it comes up like every time we talk about the Switch or Xenoblade 3, but I love Xenoblade 3.
They put out a trailer for Xenoblade X today. Like, I didn't even show news, but I watched that and I was like, I have seen more characters and villains in this trailer than I've ever seen from this game. Is this all new to the game, to this version? It might be.
They're like, quick, invent a story.
Right? That's what I'm like. Or are you trying to trick me by putting in cutscenes that are from the end of the game?
Yeah, that's what I'm always scared about because fucking Breath of the Wild, where that initial Breath of the Wild trailer they showed at the start, they showed at the big Switch event, which we're going to be getting something like that in 2 weeks. Like, it showed all the champion flashbacks.
Yeah.
And then I play that game and I'm like, where's the fucking story, Nintendo?
On a related note, the PC version of 7 Rebirth trailer came out to show off the graphics features. Holy shit, what is wrong with that?
I don't know. They're like, this is obviously for people who've played it before. It's like, no, it's not. No one played it on the PlayStation.
Like, guys, you're getting a whole new audience. Why are you showing them some of the peak moments in the game that aren't in the original game right now? Why are you doing that? You don't need... And they're like, DLSS. Like, it just says on screen. That's it. Well, let's just do this. I'm like, why are you doing this? You could show the first 8 hours of the game and get this across. There is no reason to show this. My favorite moment in the whole
90% of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's an insane amount of non-spoiler content you can show from that game.
That is joyous.
Yeah, of course.
I don't understand.
Yeah, they're dumb.
Anyway, if they offer me code for the PC version, I might get it just to look at it, just to know.
Yeah, no,
because again, I played on the PS5 Pro, so I'm very curious how it holds up on DLSS.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the open world content.
If you do that, awesome. You might as well get the 5090.
We will talk about the 5090 in news, sir. You can't trick me.
But I did play some other games.
Okay, what else did you play?
I tried out Grave Lords because they put out a demo.
Oh, fuck! The Grave Lords!
Okay. I love you. See, this game is terrible. In the opening cutscene, there is a joke about cryptocurrency.
It's Crips.
Yes, Crips.
Because
Get it?
Grave.
And then the first level is E1M1. This is a boomer shooter. It feels kind of terrible. It looks awful. I cannot recommend this. Nothing else to say. I just wanted to get out there. Yeah, they sure did try to do a cryptocurrency joke.
I was like, hey, that is all. Thank you and good night. Oh man.
Yeah, like 12 feet into the first level, it's like you need the blue key. I'm like, yeah, you are trying to be a boomer shooter and not a good one. But I played all the way through, completely beat Parking Garage Rally Circuit. That game's really cool.
Yeah.
That game is really cool.
That's what I hear.
Imagine Ridge Racer, but in parking garages.
Yeah, it's dope.
Oh. And with a bunch of physics-based elements around you. Like there's a bunch of just environmental stuff, like other cars parked. Like random pillars and things you can run into, all physics-based. And instead of racing other actual cars, you're racing ghost times. So probably because of the physics element of like, if those other cars were going through here, it would be impossible. And you could really, really cheese it. Which you could cheese things pretty well, even without other problems like that. But I'm sure it would get real goofy if, I'll just push all these other cars into the way. And then the other team the cars in the race can do nothing. The way the drifting works is really interesting. You find out you have to use it in certain ways. Like, when you're using the drift button, you will cling to the ground. So this will stop you from ramping off of stuff. A concept I didn't understand until later levels made me understand it by like, if you just hit the ramp here, you will fly into space.
That's dope.
Yes.
That's what the people need.
It is. I want to say that the graphics are going for like, I guess, Sega Saturn or Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm. It's somewhere around the Saturn Plus, so like an arcade game of that era.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played in like there's different modes, so I played the one that was like PC emulation, where it's like we just took out all the features. Because it has a bunch of CRT filters and stuff. I'm like, I don't want any of that, guys. I just want to see your crisp looking game. It's great. You basically, I want to say it's like 9 levels long, and then there's 3 different classes of car you drive. So to play the same set of 9 levels like 3 times, kind of like the CCs in Mario Kart. So each car is going to be faster and heavier. And that makes the stages play very differently because you have to really account for that. And I think one of them, it even is like, you need to do more laps because this goes way too fast.
Oh. So it's like the baby course.
It is kind of like that because it's the training garage, which is the very first level. It's a 2-story garage and it's very tiny.
Yeah, that sounds baby parkour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a lot of fun with it. It's got a pretty good soundtrack. It does not have as many vocal tracks that I would like, because all the trailers have it with the vocal music that's like ska inspired, and there are 2 of those songs in there. The other songs are pretty good though, so it's not like terrible or anything. I still enjoyed it.
I forgot to add this to my to-do list for Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, it's on my Steam account, so you can play
on
it.
My to-do list and has been, but I keep forgetting to edit.
And this is made in Godot.
Man, Godot sure is an engine people make games in, and guess what? They don't have to cut their profits with anyone else. That's pretty based.
That is pretty based. Yeah, I think when he booted up, it says Blender and Godot right on the title screen.
Dope!
And I think
that's funny, because they don't have to.
And I think that in the credits, literally, like they just credited someone for the car models. Like I think that they're just off of some store or something.
Dope. Amazing.
Right?
Jesus. Yeah, no, as chat's saying, Godot got a huge buff from Unity's fuck up. Yeah. In the fact they keep doing it.
And we see that we're already seeing the effects. Like this game's out.
I know so many people who are just like, oh, it's going to take years before it's a viable engine for game to. And it's like, oh, look, multiple games that are like big games this year on the indie side, like that and web fishing are both Godot.
Right.
Like
it's working.
It's working. The industry will heal. The giants will die.
Yes. That is what's happening.
Dan, if I were Sony, I would sure be diversifying my fucking portfolio right now.
Never.
Well, it'll diversify in terms of genres, but it won't diversify they'll all be the same type of games, re-releases of old shit because they have no new shit.
When you say they diversify their genres, I'm like, I don't even think it'll be that. Every game until they crash is just the third-person action game that's narrative. But I like the idea that somehow shit turns so hard, so fast, not in their favor, that by the end of Ghost of Yote shipping, they're like, okay, your next game's Sly. And everyone at the studio's like, what are you talking about? They're like, you got to make Sly. And Carmelita's got to have a giant ass.
It has been about 2 years.
We need sales now.
Like, okay, I guess they want us to make a modern version of Sly. And the guy comes back in the room. No. Just make a Sly game.
your version of the story, the Sony guy sounds like Frank from China, Illinois. In my head now, where he's just like, Jesus, no! Not a modern one! Oh, Jesus. We're so fucked.
I mean, if you look at the entire industry, there seems to be this, all it took to get publishers to care about their old things is, oh shit, we can't make new things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's gonna come to Sony, especially now, because there's no way that all those service games they canceled weren't supposed to be 2025 and 2026. Like, they must be looking at their fucking roster and sweating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't cover it because it's kind of not news, but it kind of also is the company that handles the modern PS2 emulation on PlayStation, because it's an outsourced group.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's not internal to Sony. It, however, is run by someone who used to be at Sony.
Okay.
Which tells you a lot.
Yeah.
They put on their they called it something truly bizarre on their website, because they described like, oh, we do PS1 emulation and PS2 emulation, and then they put it on their dream board. They're like hiring and recruiting people for the dream of maybe doing PS3.
Oh.
And I'm like, they get it.
Yeah, no, that's important stuff.
Sure is.
Someone needs to put resistance on new consoles.
Threat in parentheses. Which one? Anakin smile.
1, 3, and a motion comic.
Wow. They did it.
Shit, I think 3 opens with a motion comic of 2, actually.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I remember the jokes we were making of, they know no one should play it.
Right.
And here's the plot of that game. Not that you should know firsthand. Did you?
Yeah, I played a few other things.
Okay.
I played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond. Which is the mod of the mod sponsored by Maximilian Dude to fix the game. They try to do a visual overhaul. They try and make it cel shaded and look nicer. I understand that there's gameplay adjustments, but I'm not familiar enough with the original game to understand what those are.
Mm-hmm. It really is like walking into an audiophile's room where you're just like, yeah, it sounds good. I don't know. It sounds good.
Right?
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, like
sounds good.
You don't have an easy way to compare this or anything.
They're just looking at you like, what about it? And you're like, it sounds good. That's what about it. What do you fucking want from me?
But they tried their best to make that game look better. But oh man, it's still that game deep down. Like, you can't fix it. Everyone's face still looks kind of dead. The cel shading definitely looks nicer than the original art style, but you can't save that game. Also, it's still a Marvel vs. Capcom game without X-Men, so it's like, it's completely sauceless. Like, where's Magneto? You can't. I'm sorry, Capcom Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite just is unsalvageable. This is the most they could do. I think they made Ryu's face look worse. I don't know why either.
You can. Like, there's only so much you can do when Disney was like, we can't make an X-Men movie, so bury the X-Men. I need people to fucking realize that there was a period of time where Disney genuinely was like, we cannot put the X-Men in the MCU. We need to replace them with the fucking Inhumans.
Mm-hmm.
Corporations are fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, they've owned the X-Men for how long, and they still don't have X-Men movies coming out again?
If there's one thing I hope to impart upon this listenership we have, it is that you need to stop respecting companies that make money.
Yeah.
They are not smart. They are not run by smart people. Being rich does not make you a better or more capable person.
So I'm undergoing
hang on. My old copy of Atlas Shrugged on my shelf just burst into flames. I'll be right back.
I'm doing this project with other people where we watch every X-Men movie.
Uh-huh.
And eventually this will also include the Deadpool movies and the fucking New Mutants.
Oh.
We still haven't seen that one, unless Dan, you didn't watch that, did you?
No.
Okay.
What I am becoming increasingly, I'm trying to think of the word, baffled, horrified, gripped with, like, I'm confronting an alien force that anybody's like, we need to keep bringing up these movies. We need to fold these into the MCU. And I'm like, the best one of them so far has been a 7.
I don't know what you're talking about.
X-Men First Class kind of sucks.
Oh yeah, First Class sucks. It's like
kind of
one of the worst.
Yeah.
Although I will say, X-Men First Class is the only thing I have ever seen where I'm like, yeah, that's gay baiting. Normally, every other time I've heard the term used, I looked at it and was like, they're obviously not gay. What are you being tricked by? But then I watch X-Men First Class and like there's like 40 minutes of Xavier and Magneto walking around holding hands and looking at each other wistfully and having tender conversations and sticking their tongues in each other's mouth. And then at the end of the movie, they each like their eyes glaze over and they walk in different directions holding the hands of women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Their broship is over. It's a shame. We could have had a movie that took place after that had like the arc from the animated cartoons, so that way they go off and have their own Adventures of Johnny Quest style thing where, oh no, this island
we're in
is
the Savage Land.
You can walk, Charles. Let's go on an adventure together and let me throw a barrel at it. Missed opportunity.
I really fucking don't like Beast's hand feet.
Oh yeah, they're bad.
Now, I assume peak bad Beast is New Beast, right? Like that's when the hand feet get too much, right? You didn't have a problem with Fraser Crane, did you?
I don't think the thing is we never see Blue Fraser as a human. In First Class, we see human Beast
we do.
before he injects himself with the goo that turns him into animalistic Beast, and they show his human hand feet.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking horrifying. Also, they should have just made Mystique blue, keeping the texture from those X-Men movies. Because like, well, we got to have continuity with the X movies. Like, no, you don't. She's a fucking shapeshifter. Because the new actress, like, she looks bad with the texture shit on her. She looks fine normally, and she'd look fine if they just painted her blue. But the texture adding on it sucks so bad.
What do you think about Baby Her with the texture?
God. That also was very, very, very horrifying. Man, I always heard about the black guy whose ability was to not be killed, being effortlessly killed. I thought there would be anything.
No.
Anything to it.
So
not just the villain
stupid.
saying, adapt to this and shooting him in the head.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't shoot him in the head. He injects him with energy, so he like turns to ash and explodes, but you don't see him explode. Like 3 characters in X-Men First Class die from them like looking at the camera crying and there being like a white flash that cuts to another scene.
Hey, that must be the smart thing to do, because I cannot tell you the number of people who get upset when I say X-Men First Class sucks. They get fucking mad. So clearly they're correct to do that.
That movie almost doesn't have a plot. I feel like that's rapidly becoming the theme of these X-Men movies. Where like X-Men 1 has a plot. Magneto wants to use the thing to turn everybody into mutants, but it'll kill everybody, so they have to stop him.
Uh-huh.
X-Men 2 is evil guy from Wolverine's past is up to some shit. X-Men 3 just doesn't have a plot.
So have you made your way to Dark Phoenix yet?
No. We're doing these in chronological order, so I think there's like 5 movies before Dark Phoenix.
So have you seen Days of Future Past yet?
No.
Okay,
that's after First Class.
That explains his statement of saying the best one was what, a 7? Is that what you said, or was it an 8?
I think I said a 7. Yeah.
I would honestly feel not enraged but baffled if you were like Days of Future Past is a 7. I'm like, no, that's like peak.
That's the X-Men movie, honestly.
I hope
ideals of all of it.
I hope there's any joy in this that doesn't come from a Deadpool movie.
And then you get to the Marlon Brando impersonation hour with fucking Apocalypse. Fucking Poe Dameron's just like, oh yes, that sounds nice. That's real great. I'll make you a sandwich.
You know, any joy that isn't a Deadpool movie or us watching the unfinished effects cut of Wolverine.
Wolverine, yes. Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I also don't know who the guy who they fucking worked for Capcom, I think, is like, well, the functions of those characters have been replaced by these other characters. And I'm like, you should never speak to a camera again.
What was it? There's something I wanted to say before we moved on from the X-Men movies to get back to what Bob was talking about.
Okay.
And it was first and foremost. Oh, and also, and this isn't even debatable, the visual quality of First Class is dog shit. I'm sorry you're all fucking blind. It looks like ass. Okay, now I'm done.
Does.
It does.
I would know. I own it on a high quality home format. Like,
oh, one last thing. They do the Surf Ninja shit to so much. It's so infuriating.
It's Surf Ninja the movie, yes.
Yes.
Why? Like, the thing that really annoyed me is they're like, well, all the high tech shit in the basement of the X Mansion, now that already existed because and it's like, why? Why did we need that? Also, having the villain show up when Magneto's in the fucking concentration camp is stupid. I fucking hate that.
No, chat, we're comparing it to Surf Ninja, not Surf Dracula. No, this was a very good analogy. You need to go back and watch Surf Ninja.
Oh, did I say Surf Ninjas? I meant Surf Dracula. They're the same thing now.
In my head, I heard Surf Dracula and I agreed and then said what you said. So we all agree we probably said Surf Dracula and Jet's trying to gaslight us. But as penance, you need to go watch Surf Ninja Strike Back.
I've still never seen that movie. Yeah, no.
Like the original or the
original.
Strike Back is, I think that's the second one, right?
They did not make
ninjas.
Yeah, you're thinking of 3 ninjas. They did not make it more than one Surf Ninjas.
I combined those two movies as a kid into the same movie. I will never recover from this moment.
I have watched every 3 Ninjas movie at least 30 times each. Wow. So it goes Surf Ninja. I just did it again. It goes 3 Ninjas. 3 Ninjas I think it's 3 Ninjas Kick Back. It's 3 Ninjas Kick Back.
Yeah.
Then 3 Ninjas Knuckle Up. And then 3 Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
And that's the one with Liam Neeson? No, wait, no.
That's the one with Hulk Hogan that was a DVD that was like super low budget and had all different actors like nobody wanted to come back. 3 Ninjas Knuckle Up might be the most 90s movie ever made because it's about these kids doing antics and the whole plot revolves around, we got to get this zip disk full of evil things the corporation is doing to the authorities so they can stop the evil corporation from polluting a native reservation.
You know, I watched the first 2 of those as a kid a lot. I didn't know there were more.
I don't know how many of these I watched. I watched the one with the Game Gear.
Isn't that Surf Ninjas?
That's Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, that's Surf Ninjas.
I may have seen one of the other ones and then again combine those scenes into this, but it didn't matter.
I guess we'll have to do the podcast where we watch every 90s movie with ninja in the title.
We will die before that series ends.
Can't be that many.
That is now the title of that podcast.
They have to be. We have to limit it to American ones, Hollywood ones.
Oh my God, there cannot be that many. Is a really good name for a podcast. Oh my god. Anyways, Bob.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Versus Capcom Infinite and Beyond.
I still think this is a neat thing that they did.
Yes.
And I feel like I'll probably play a little more to see how it is. I forgot the boss of the arcade mode to that is just an absurd level of like health sponge. Like his health bar is huge.
Yeah, that was my understanding. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've never seen the game through.
Yeah, I played the story mode shoot. I don't know if I ever played arcade mode shoot, which is insane, right? But at least the story mode, is really goofy. It has like Mega Man X and Light in the story mode.
Sigma.
Yeah. But the main boss of the arcade mode is Sigma fused with Ultron, which is the main thing with the game. But so he's the giant Sigma like face thing, but with Ultron growing out of the top of him.
Okay.
You punch him a few times, then he like backs off so you can't hit him anymore and spawns ads.
That's a little Sigma-like.
And he keeps doing it. Yes, it is very much like the end of the Sigma fight. But
like if you made a modern version of a Sigma fight, that was even worse. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
Not really. If you own the game already, I would suggest downloading this.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Give it a shot. I don't know why they did that to Ryu. They like tried to make him look like Street Fighter 1 Ryu, which is like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
It ends up on like he still looks really old, but it was his face stretched out a little bit, like he's almost Botox look. It's horrifying.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Other people had genuine face upgrades, like Dante and Morgan. They look a lot more human now. And this is the only game anytime recently you can play as Jeddah. So if you need to do that,
if that's a thing you need in your life, there you go.
I also played more Penny's Big Breakaway. I came back to this because when I first played it, when it first came out, it was blatantly incomplete. I fell through the walls a lot. It had a lot of problems. It seems more stable now.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the movement of the game because there's a bunch of different things where you can combo your moves together, but it feels like the levels are not made for it.
Yeah, that's the feeling I got playing through the game, where it's like, these are spaces I can technically do these movements, but it feels like the game's level design doesn't really compel me to do it in a way that's fun and engaging.
Right. I kind of feel like I'm doing these movements, and that means I'm skipping your entire designed level. Like, that means I'm just flying over everything. And if I actually sit there and try and engage with the mechanics you build at the level, like random dudes in the level that give you missions that you have to do, that pop them in text boxes, don't freeze the game or anything.
Then you're losing too much time and you're going to get punished at the end of the level.
Yeah, it just feels bad. So I took the approach of ignoring all of those and just playing through the stage.
Okay, is that going well?
That's going somewhat okay. It still feels like the levels aren't really designed for us, but as far as I go in the game, the more it feels like they're starting to become made with the idea of what the gameplay is. Like,
okay.
So it's seeming like it's on an upswing.
Okay.
The bosses, I feel, are not done. Just wholly incomplete. Like, I had in both fights something that happened that felt like, oh, that wasn't tested for.
Okay.
Like, one of them is you're skirting across water, running at an enemy. You go shoot little rings to boost your speed.
Okay, live and learn. Got it.
Yeah, and then the enemies in the background on a ship. So I missed the final boost ring. And that means I don't have quite enough momentum to get all the way to the ship.
Yeah.
So I jump off my yo-yo and do a jump that should take me to the ship. But instead, I touch the water for one frame, and it plays a dying animation, and then I appear in the next part of the fight anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like,
okay,
this is not how this should work.
Weird. That sounds like mechanically what you're describing, very open your heart Sonic Adventure 1 chaos fight style, where you're hitting the boost to keep going to make it all the way to the thing to do the damage.
It is a little bit like that, yeah. Okay. It's been a long time since we played the chaos fight, so I can't hardly remember it.
Sonic Month 2, putting it on the list. Sonic Adventure 1 again.
And then the next boss fight, you play against a guy who's on a pool table. So to get him to a damageable state, like you do a Ganondorf battle with him, and then he falls over and turns into a bunch of pool balls. And you need to shoot into the different the different holes around the pool table. The visual for this tries to give you an aimer for where the ball will go when you hit it.
A what?
An aimer, like a dotted line aiming them.
Where? Okay, yeah.
And you'd think that would be based on like, okay, if you see that aimer, you hit the attack button and she'll automatically attack the ball and it'll go that direction. Instead, It's that's if you manage to hit this with your yo-yos from the exact angle you're standing from, it will go in that direction. So you need to then see that aimer and then manually push in the direction of it and show your yo-yo.
Okay.
At it directly.
I see.
Which just feels really awkward and weird. For you, if you don't remember, this game has the option to use the analog stick to show your yo-yo, like on the right analog stick, or you can just hit square button. Which they decided to do for I don't know why. Honestly, it feels like that means that there's no longer a camera system button, which is a real problem for a lot of the stages because they are a lot of like, okay, if I could look a little bit to the right, like I don't need a full swing camera. I need to be able to
track the shot to the right.
And the only thing that seems to give you a benefit for having this is you can do stuff where you spin the yo-yo around you.
Yeah.
For certain puzzles where you need to like, go or unscrew this thing that you're standing on. And you could just have a button to spin your yo-yo.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of duplicate buttons on this control scheme because they think that you can either play it all on the shoulder buttons or all on the D-pad or on the face buttons. And it's like you just have one more button. You get rid of one of these duplicate buttons, and you don't even need that. You can have your analog stick in this. It's just a baffling decision. Also, some of the cutscenes made in game are like, man, you shouldn't pull the camera this close on these face models. They aren't done. You can see like holes in the polygons.
Oh,
yeah. When their main character does certain expressions, you see like.
Seams like literally through her head because oh wow,
yeah, like this game still isn't done, which is sad, and it never will be. That's my assumption now. Like they have to have moved on. I still want to beat it. I still think that there's a lot of neat ideas here, but it's unfortunate. This is how their first big game turned out.
Yeah, hopefully the next one's better.
Yeah,
because I think technically when it comes to the technicals of it, it is really impressive. Like it runs really good. It has really good visual design and really good visual look.
Yeah.
It's really cool that they made their own engine for this.
Forgot, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got great music.
It's got great music and it's got a great aesthetic. I just feel like it's falling apart at me enjoying playing the game, which is unfortunate.
I think I'll finish it just because I think I got like halfway through the game last night. And that's when I started playing it again. Because they actually went on sale on PlayStation. So I was like, okay, sure. Why not? 40% off. That's a lot more reasonable. I think the game's originally like $30 or something.
Yeah, somewhere around there. 25, 30.
Too much.
Well, yeah, a little bit. I would like to note the reason I beat MiniShoot Adventures is because doing 8 hours of Batman in a row was obviously a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
once I'd done 2 hours of it, basically, I was like, oh, I'm throwing hundreds of punches. Oh boy.
You're right.
I shouldn't do this for 8 hours.
And you didn't want to just start on Metaphor?
No, because I'm going to finish Like a Dragon 8 soon, and I thought, why would I start the next RPG right before I finish the prior RPG?
That wouldn't feel great, no.
In between this RPG I picked up and finished within a week. I wanted to, though, just to be clear. I watched the intro.
Okay.
The title screen shows you like a whole intro thing before you even hit it.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that, because I think it'll just play that again. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Cool, I'll skip it that time.
The weirdest part of that is every time you turn the game on, it'll play that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, yo, make a, like,
just understand that I've seen it already and just show the title screen.
Yeah, either show the title screen
after a certain amount of time, then you can play it.
Or make something original for this. Like some sort of title animation. That's
they can't. Wait until you beat the game, then it'll do something fancy with the title screen, right? A lot of games do that.
They do. I don't remember if this one does.
The title screen will change and its new name will be Analogy.
That's all the games I played.
That's all the games you played. Okay, we're moving on. Dr. Agro. What have you been up to?
So I wrapped up the Thaumaturge this week. That game's real good. Here's something weird about it that it took me most of the game to realize. The structure of it. It reminded me of nothing quite so much as the Insomniac Spider-Man games.
Huh.
Yeah, that took a while to digest because of the budget disparity.
Yeah, I bet.
But structurally, like you're in one city that is, in this case, split up into like 8 different neighborhoods that are all like 2 or 3 blocks apiece, but they're at actual city scale. Like they're 1-to-1, not like the quarter scale you get in video games a lot.
Okay.
And it's like I said, it's isometric in 3D, so like think Baldur's Gate and modern PC RPGs, but it has a fixed camera, which is incredible for having your game run and knowing exactly what's going to be on screen. So you can design these really beautiful like detail cluttered and populated environments, but don't have to worry about me being a dick and shoving a camera inside of a building. And anyway,
Diablo 2 is right, actually.
Yeah, no, it's it was right about a lot of things. Much like the Spider-Man games, this is the main reason it reminded me of it. Is in this game, you've got your main quest and your side quest, and then you've got a bunch of random collectible events you can do, because you're a thaumaturge and you sense memories and impressions from objects. So you'll be going around the world and you'll click the sense button and you'll scatter out this really cool red particle effect that will activate red particles on interactable objects. It's actually a really cool hot and cold, well, not really hot and cold system, but if you're near one of those objects, it has this dispersed cloud of little red sparkles. And you've got to like navigate your way towards it and figure out where they're coalescing more. And as you get closer, they'll coalesce more and then get down to the actual object. But all throughout the game, you are just finding random shit out in the world. And if you collect 3 of them that are related, they'll coalesce into an idea. And then you can go to where that idea said, like, oh, I found out because there was like a letter where a woman's complaining about her husband staying out late. And I also found like a half-chewed cigar that had memories from a party on it. And then I found like a cop's baton lying in the street from the party he had to break up the night before. Oh, there are sick-ass parties at this address. And you go to that address and you click on the thing and you get this sketch of 1905 Warsaw having a sick-ass party and you get some XP. A lot of the game is going around, like poking stuff and learning cool facts. And it's to the point where if you had made this in a fantasy setting, they would have told you stop explaining it. Stop over-explaining your setting. Nobody cares. But it's historical, so you get to do that because you're learning.
Jesus.
That's pretty funny to think about.
I said before that this game, it's got combat in it, and the combat's neat. It's got some ideas. It's got some cool mechanics. But, eventually I'm like, okay, this combat is just there so they can switch up the gameplay so you're not always in these conversations or poking around objects in the environment. And at a certain point, I'm like, you could have given me a card minigame or something. Like, the combat's good. I don't have any complaints about it. But eventually I hit a few sections where it was just too many fights in a row, and I'm like, this is not the cool part of your game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that feeling completely.
Which sucks because the combat's like it's good. And then there's the final boss where I did not realize this game expected me to be that competent at its combat. Holy shit. Like it was never brain dead easy, but it got to the final boss and it's like, put your nuts on the table.
I've played too many games like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens in indie games sometimes more frequently.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you didn't lead into this. You just did this.
It's kind of surprising Pseudo Regalia didn't do that.
That's true.
I think you all lucked out.
So it turned out that Grigori Rasputin is a big part of this game's plot. This game does some shit near the end of it that I'm going to be talking about in Game of the Year.
Good.
It's been a long time since I've literally screamed because something I didn't expect to happen happened in a video game. There's this video game I think needs to be studied for if you're going to have dialogue options in your game. Because they're like I played Baldur's Gate 3. Loved Baldur's Gate 3. Picking dialogue options in that game was stressful. Because it was, oh man, I'm going to hit a thing and it's going to have unexpected consequences and I'm going to have to reload my save. This game manages, I mean, at least for me, to accomplish me being comfortable that I'm going to pick a dialogue option and what I think is going to happen is going to happen.
Okay.
Also, there's this really cool mechanic where you've got a thing called a flaw, which is how your Thaumaturge magic works. It's a whole deal. But your specific flaw is pride. And often in conversations, you'll have an option with a little red crown next to it. And it says, choosing this option will feed the flaw of pride. And it's usually the, like, do you know who the fuck I am? Be a dick option.
It's like, what are you, a bleach captain?
Later on in the game, you start getting dialogue options that are grayed out and say, you don't have enough pride to do this, or you have too much pride to do this.
That's cool.
They mix that in with a lot of, because of decisions you've made, this option is locked out. And I love it surfacing information like that to me. Where I get into a situation and there's 4 options and I can only pick one of them because I have backed myself into this corner.
And imagine just you get to the end of a Mass Effect game and they're like, you're an asshole, but you're not that much of an asshole. You haven't been dickish enough to do this here at this point. You no balls.
Mass Effect does do that.
Oh, it does? It just hard cuts you off nonstop at the end?
Not at the end, but there are always dialogue options that you have to have your Paragon or Renegade to certain levels to be able to pick.
The funny thing is, imagine you could still pick them and then somehow they solve that through dialogue. Like, don't worry, I'll go and save them. No, you won't. Okay.
That would be incredible. Like you have good points, evil points, and believability.
Right?
Yeah, nobody buys this.
Fallout New Vegas does that, where all your stats and skills can open new dialogue options, even when they aren't deliberately dialogue related. And if you don't have enough, it'll give you the dialogue option will change to you saying some dipshit shit that won't work. So it'll be like, you need 40 stealth to do this route. And if you don't have it, it'll be you saying something that's total bullshit that nobody would believe.
This game also had a lot of good moments that I found. I don't know how many of them I didn't find. Where, you know, like you're doing a quest and you've played video games, you talk to people, you find out the thing, you go to the place to do the thing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of points in this game where the go to this location to continue the quest isn't necessarily where you need to go. Because if you stop and use your human brain, you think, wait, I know a cop who's interested in this. Why wouldn't I? And you go talk to him and he's like, yeah, for real, let's fucking go, squad up. And then you bring the cop and he prevents the bad ending from happening.
Whoa! What a concept! Every 7th gen game is like, and then they just chose to not tell the person who would like to know. That's really cool that you can do that.
It is. There's also a lot of, and this is one of the things that reminded me of Spider-Man structurally. You'll just be going from one place to the next, and there'll just be an NPC on the street with a "you can talk to me" icon. Be like, okay, that's who the fuck is this? And you click on them, and oh, okay, this is just like a random ass side quest. Which random NPC with a side quest doesn't sound like a thing that's strange in a video game. But for this open world-esque sort of go to point A, follow the markers video game, it was really interesting that every now and then I wouldn't even have to click on them. I just get walked up on by a guy like, hey, I've got a note for you. Here's a whole side quest.
That's like Dragon's Dogma 2.
Additionally, okay, so I said before, you summon weird demon things called Salutors. And the story gives you 4 of them. There are 4 more you can get. And I ended up getting locked out of one of them because of story decisions I made. The other 3, I found by starting side quests, by doing those poke 3 objects to get a location, to get a little XP. Some of those just led to huge, complicated side quests that ended in me getting new Salutors with no signposting or like, hey, the content is this way pointing.
Huh.
It ended up with the world feeling like this may be one of the most genuinely realistic and lived in and dynamic feeling worlds I've ever played in a video game because of its scale, because of its restraint in fidelity, because of its execution. Although that is somewhat pulled back a notch by oftentimes if you're in a cutscene, NPCs that are 10 feet away from you are 10 frames a second.
Is the whole game isometric?
Mm-hmm. Fixed camera.
Then I don't know why it would do that.
Like even the cutscenes?
No, not the cutscenes.
Okay. So that's when they go 10 frames per second?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it makes any level of sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that game, I was waiting for it all year, and I'm kind of glad I did. Like, I don't know how it would have run closer to launch and on my laptop. But, yeah, this was one of the coolest, just straight stories I've played in a video game in a while.
People in chat, a person in chat is saying that the studio is the people who are remaking The Witcher 1.
Huh.
Weirdly enough.
Huh.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
Seems like a really different scale of game, though.
The Witcher 1 is certainly not the scale of the other two games they made.
No, but it is like a full third person sort of style game, though.
I'm gonna be real. You could kind of do fucking whatever to The Witcher 1 and I'd be cool with it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this studio is made from former CD Projekt Red people.
Oh.
Well, that makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll actually play a Witcher game at some point.
Yeah,
Someday.
the new one. And we'll just be like, is it woke? AI assistant from Nvidia, is it woke? Chat is saying it's too woke and that you should kill yourself. Thanks, AI stream partner. Thanks.
I also played Rat Shaker.
Thrilled. Glad you played Rat Shaker. How did you?
That sure is $3 a video game.
It sure is.
I got done with that. I'm like, I used to do this on Newgrounds for free 12 times a night, but at a much lower fidelity.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You paid for the Rat Shaking fidelity. It's got lumens. You need the lumens in your Rat Shaking.
How did we become aware of this game?
Oh, I'm not saying now. now that the question has been framed exactly like that.
God damn it.
I think it's really important that we check out a lot of different games in the walking simulator genre that is psychological horror, and I think Rat Shaker offers a really different perspective on that from the usual fare. Yeah.
You're lucky that game was $3.
Yeah, if that game was any more than $3.
I was seriously like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying I'm mad I played it. I'm saying I looked at the credits thinking if that game was $5, I'd have been mad.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you get the anvil? Spoilers for Rat Shaker. I'm just good. So at the very beginning of the game, when you shake the rat to remember the farmhouse, there's a different house on the right. And if you walk to that, which takes for fucking ever, when you walk in, there's a sign in the room, and that's it. And the sign is facing away from you. And then it slowly and creepily turns towards you, and all it is an up arrow, and when you look up, you get crushed by an anvil.
Damn it. See, I didn't walk to that structure because the first thing I did was turn away from the house and walk in the other direction. And that just made me start over, and I had to go through the whole opening segment again, and that crushed my spirit of exploration.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like the core problem with that game.
Yeah. Because even if you get the anvil, you still have to do the walk again.
Yep.
Or do the...
You have to do the entire opening loop again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the number one fucking problem with that game, is the opening loop not having proper checkpointing. The game's 30 minutes long. For the love of God.
I also started playing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Oh shit.
Oh man, this game. There are puzzle games that make you feel really smart, and there are puzzle games that make you feel really dumb. This is a puzzle game that makes me feel like I'm going to be punished by heaven for years of shit talking about how good I am at puzzle games. This may be the most intimidating, nested, layered soup of puzzles I have ever been in the middle of. I'm having the time of my goddamn life.
Hell yeah.
Like you open the game next to a car, and the style in this game is crazy. It's a lot like if you remember 60s American animation, where often there'd just be figures on the screen and a few pieces of like set design, and then it'd be like strange colors and abstract shapes out to the edges. It's sort of like that. I started this game next to a car, and I went to the car and I hit the button. I hit any button. All the buttons do the same thing. You have the move stick, and all the other buttons either open the menu, select the highlighted thing in the menu, or select the contextually highlighted object in the world. I understand why you would do that. Please just have the shoulder buttons do nothing so I can fidget with them, rather than every button on the controller be the do button.
Yeah, that's a weird choice. You could even just have one shoulder button. I'm sure someone can figure it out.
Anyway, I open the car and I look in the glove box, and there's the instructional booklet for the game. And it tells me that, hey, like this is a game that assumes you have knowledge of certain things like English and Roman numerals and math and how, some of these systems interplay, because you've got your character has a photographic memory. So every time you read something, you can go into the menu and look at it again. So the solution to this puzzle isn't on the wall next to this puzzle. It's in the other wing of the house, 2 floors down, in one of the books on that shelf.
Oh.
It's so good. It's so terrifying. Like there's a whole series of doors that the solution to which is related to the posters on the wall near the doors. The reference to which is in the attic in a separate room, and you have to figure out that those relate to the posters and how to solve that to open the doors. I start opening the doors because I figure all that out. Inside are safes with tables next to them. The tables have notes that are incomprehensible, and the safe locks are mechanisms. They're all different, and I don't know what any of them are in reference to.
Good Lord.
In the courtyard of this building, there is a large black Labrador that will bark and run up to you, and you can hit the do button to change the camera angle to zoom in on his adorable face and pet him. I believe he was put there as a mercy rather than as a point of interest.
I need this now.
Like there's so much shit that happens that goes weird. So many different types of puzzles and mazes and interpretations of those concepts that happen that I don't want to spoil, because watching this game ramp up is a pleasure. My first thought, like an hour in, was, oh my God, this is the game I've been waiting to dig my teeth into forever. I cannot recommend this game to anyone I actually know.
Wait, you wouldn't recommend it to me? That would be great. I'm like, I fucking hate it. It made me walk to the other end of the house and down 2 stories to the fucking book on the shelf. Can you fucking believe that? This is dog shit. Batman, I turn on the detective vision. It's like, I need to solve this. Yeah, he touched this. And those are chemicals. I forgot to mention that in Batman, you need to find out a combination to a fucking thing, and it's got like a thing above it that's like, first the cops, then the courts, then the clink. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to these rooms and solve it. And I'm just staring at the stuff, and I'm like, you can't tell me this is nothing. It's a fucking photo on a dartboard with a dart in it, holding it on the dartboard. That is a clue. It is a picture of a courthouse. Let me know what that is. And it's like, you didn't look at the other clue first. Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to find the third. So I found these 2 rooms where it was like, not those clues, not yet. I had to find the third room that had the first clue they wanted me to see in it, so that way Batman could out loud be like, yes, the cops are like pigs, and this number 11 is written on this photo. It is glowing with this ink that I should have seen with my detective vision before, but they only wanted me to discover this in a very specific order. It's so dumb. It is terrible. It's so peak. I'm a detective as a 7th gen video game. Anyway, sorry. I just thought it formed a good contrast.
No, that is an important point of contrast. Anecdote from this game, the house has a bunch of shortcut doors that only open from one side. Mm-hmm. But they're all locked with a dial going from 0 to 99. You have to find the book of puzzles that relate to each door that are numbered. and solve the puzzle in there, some of which you need more external information to solve. The fourth shortcut door, and they're not in any discernible order geographically that I can figure out. The fourth shortcut door, I went to the book and, okay, puzzle 1, 2, 3, puzzle question mark. I solved it, but that's not the number for door 4, because it's not door 4 in the book, it's door question mark. Door 4 is not in the book. I don't know where the fuck door question mark is. My favorite part of a puzzle game is when figuring out if this is the puzzle to solve is the first part of the puzzle.
So those passageways are just fast travel, right? They're just to quickly get you between rooms you could otherwise walk down hallways to get through, or they unlock it. I just, as you describe that with enthusiasm, with interest, I cannot help but imagine the number of people are like, I cannot believe you're making me solve this for quality of life. I don't like that.
The first one I opened after I found the book of shortcut door puzzles led to a small hallway on the other end of which was the locked half of another shortcut door.
Oh, come on. So this is going well, I take it. This is an experience for you.
It is. Oh.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Lorelei and the laser eyes?
Yes, but it's all spoilers, so no.
That always sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I have things I could have said about 7 Rebirth that aren't spoilers. Like, man, you sure do take Kate Sith and throw boxes at switches. Oh my God. What were they thinking there? I don't know. That is one gameplay type in this game, in that game, where I go, now I know no one in the office thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, that's easily the most bizarre gimmick that they make you do in that entire game.
Easily. Yeah. He wins that one-handed.
In a game filled with bizarre gimmicks you do for one thing.
Yes! That is the most 7th gen gimmick, I think. Like, that's something that would have come out 2 years after Half-Life 2. It's like, we kind of got physics working. Throw these boxes.
Yeah. I don't know how it went for YouTube when I had the box and it was like, okay, throw it at the switch. And I'm like, okay, cool. The reticle's showing that I'm going to hit that switch. And then I throw it. Kate says throws it 5 feet to the right of the switch. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? There we go. Chat's got it. That's a 6-axis gimmick for sure.
Yes.
One moment. We're aiming.
I can't remember.
You actually can.
Okay, I was like, I feel like I did that.
Yeah, you can click L3 and actually do. Jesus. What they're trying to make you feel like if Remake did come out on the PS3. That's what they're doing. It's very clever, actually. So, have you resigned yourself to not speaking anymore about it for fear of spoilers?
I'm good, and that is all I've been playing.
Hey, Chris, what have you been playing?
Metaphor. That's it. I think I have one more play session before Metaphor is over.
So he actually has 2.
Right? That's how it needs to be going.
No, I don't. I know. I played Persona 5. I know how fucking one of the endings of these games goes. By PlayStation, I mean 9 hours.
You're almost at the monetary.
Now, I've been harsh on, like, it's pretty incredible when a dev just fixes every single problem you have with their previous games entirely. Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
There is literally none left. This feels like Elden Ring, not just in the sense of like you did as much with your formula as you could, but also you used every single thing you've ever come up with.
Yeah. So here's a question. As a contrast to both praise this game and draw contrasts elsewhere. Why is it we have gotten this multiple times from Japanese studios in the most recent years, but the Western studios are doing the harsh opposite? Where it's like,
because Western studios fire everyone between games.
Right. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, it's almost been a whole year of that being the main news topic.
They either fire everybody between games, or some dickhead executive goes, well, you got to make something entirely different that you've never made before. And it's like, why? We're good at making this.
But what if it was more like Iron Man?
So it's really cool when you, Bob. Why did you choose the one time an executive was right? He's talking about Anthem.
Yes.
He's talking about when the executive walked in and was like, "Oh, he's like Iron Man. That's great. That's the main thing with this game now." And walked out of the room. He was right. That is the only thing that had any impact in that entire video game.
Yes.
I'm sorry, BioWare, that you made a sauceless piece of crap. And then had to make an Iron Man sauceless piece of crap. But maybe if you had an idea before he walked in.
And that was yet another case of BioWare never should have been making that.
So many layers. Anyways, so it's really great that Metaphor and Elden Ring both feel like these moments where it's just like, we put in everything.
Yeah,
it's so great. I'll never have to play a Persona game.
Looking good, Aggro.
I mean, I can't say you should.
Bob, can you say he should?
You might enjoy them. I don't know.
Which one?
I think
probably 4. That's the one I would recommend. Typically,
yeah, I think 4 is probably the best one. 5 really does feel like we were doing something else, and then we had a lot of development issues, and it became us retreading Persona 4. So you might as well just play Persona 4.
But how does Persona 5 Royale feel? Does
I've never played that one.
I don't fucking know, and I never will.
No one on this podcast knows. Holy shit!
Yeah, no.
I actually don't think they will do a version like that for Metaphor.
Bob, thoughts?
There are like 2 things I could consider them doing to Metaphor. You know, I don't know if it's worth it.
I think they could put, there's like 1 or 2 characters they could potentially make an existing character playable, but they've never done that before. It's always an entirely new person.
Mm-hmm.
And this game uses the calendar system in such a different way that I feel like you can't do the shit Persona 5 Royale does, which is just, let's just add 3 more months at the end.
I'm just losing a reading chat because I see Persona 5 is great, fight me. We didn't say it wasn't. And a bunch of other things. And then there's just Spiff, as we're discussing, are they going to make the definitive version of this? And all he says is, let me kiss Stroll. They're like
fair.
$70 again.
Yeah, I guess they could add in romances.
It'd be hilarious to see them like, what do we do to give us more days? Oh, we add more days to the week, or we add extra months in the middle, like, oh, March is over, Marchuary.
Right?
Yeah, they can't add more days to the week. That wouldn't actually make it longer because months are 6 weeks in this game, because the weeks in this game are only 5 days.
Okay, yeah, that's how that worked. Right. I remember they split up the days differently, but
yeah, like the Peggle 2 guys just like March 2.
Yes.
Like they could just they could just stretch it out further, I guess. Like they could put additional time between events.
The March 2 by royal decree just reminds me, I can't remember which president did this. They moved Thanksgiving earlier so there would be more shopping weeks for Christmas. And everyone's like, we fucking hate that. It's just the thought of March 2 just makes me think that is the most dipshit. It was Roosevelt? Okay. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck this. What's wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I don't want to suck this game's dick too much.
You're entitled.
I really can't, like, I have criticized Persona 5 a lot on this podcast even.
Mm-hmm.
But this has none of the problems I have with Persona 5. None of them. In fact, the fact that you go to different places in this game and you're like on a journey, even fixes the thing I was annoyed with where the trailers for Persona 5 implied you would be going to different places and then you don't.
Yeah, no, that's something that has a huge leg up over Street 5 and Persona of like, you go places. Those are very much, you're in the one town and everything cycles off of that.
I really didn't expect that, like, the first game I'd play to kind of accurately convey and understand the sort of collective psychosis everyone has been under since COVID to be this game.
There was some game we played that was like so COVID core, and I cannot remember. Damn.
Like there was Death Stranding, but that was before.
Right. No, there was one in between then and now.
So teeny tiny spoilers for this game.
1 second.
I'm going to be very generic, but it does kill me that this game came out before the election and has this part where it's like, it looks like the insane fascist is going to win, so all the rich people are sucking up to him real hard. And that's just like, wow, we've now reached the point where any Japanese game is doing this shit. Where America's just transparent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that playing that game was a little rough right at that moment.
But yeah, can't recommend it enough. I can't even think of a criticism of it almost.
Chat, did you know I can mute my audio output and it doesn't mute the podcast for you all? No reason I'm mentioning that right now.
They're trapped with the Dragon Quest music.
Yep, I'm just going to leave them there for an hour. I assume Chris is still going. Agro's eating food into a microphone. Chris is clearly watching like fucking Seinfeld on the TV out loud.
Chad is desperately slamming Dan. Dan, he found milk duds. Dan, save us.
It's also funny that this game really just does solidify like, wow, like 40% of all Japanese culture is Gundam.
Gundam's a pretty big deal.
Gundam is a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big deal. I think Hollywood would be a lot more based if we actually got the injection of Gundam that almost happened a couple times, it feels like.
It's not going to be the same because you're not going to have two characters have a conversation and you go, wait a minute. This was a scene in Char's Counterattack. They even talked about the exact same shit.
Well, these are just important themes to people on the spectrum in my fantasy universe, okay? So leave me alone.
It also has some Legend of Galactic Heroes sauce, which helps because that is another 80s anime that really called their shot. A scene in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, a guy walks up to the new emperor of the empire who is one of the main characters. Is like, we need to have secret police. You know, that's important for an empire, is having our secret police. But we can't call it the secret police. Let's call it the Department of Homeland Security. Not like 1987, by the way. Another great part of Legend of Galactic Heroes. This happens within the first 3 episodes. It's like, as you all know, the way our analogy for America works is you don't get to go to college unless you join the military.
Cool. Great.
But yeah, I'm done sucking Metaphor's dick. I'll probably suck it a little more next week after I have beaten it.
Just a little.
I don't think. What did Bob and Agro give it on that spoiler cast they did? Sorry that we're spoiling a 6-month-old podcast almost.
6 months? What?
Like 4.
July? Holy shit! I knew I put off Metaphor, but damn.
Look, once you get out of the year, any date in the prior year is 6 months ago.
Sure.
I gave it a 10.
Yeah, Bob gave it a 10. I gave it a really strong 9.
Okay, I would also probably give it a 10 if I had been on that podcast.
I'm excited to find out what my number is. I'm like 1. It's woke.
Too woke.
We should get a 5th podcast member who's literally a clown. Literally has the makeup on and everything. They get invited to spoiler cast. All they ever say is that it's woke.
Dan,
what?
The 5090 can provide this for us.
That's true.
That is the only use case for that piece of shit. It's like I made this horrible Muppet that sits in the corner of my stream and calls things woke, and we all laugh at it.
Yeah, no, I literally if unfortunately I end up with access to that thing, that will be its role. It will just be the Monday streams we do, or Big Think, where we just let the AI talk, and we're like, chat, AI buddy, is chat being woke right now? Yes, ban them. ban them all, AI partner, dude.
God, they're gonna have to roll out so many different things to be like, okay, now he can't affect things, but you can still look at chat. You just can't actually interact because that causes problems.
We will get to it later, but I'm just gonna know. You want to talk about it causing problems? It's done via Streamlabs. You know, the people who stole OBS made their own fork, and everyone got pissed at. So they're just a donation margin platform. For anyone who doesn't know how Streamlabs models work. So I'm very curious what exactly is going to come out of this. Satan partnered with other Satan.
I can't wait to find out that AI stream companion is really just 10,000 Indian guys they hired.
Right?
God. I can't wait for Honey to somehow get involved.
They should have partnered. Why hasn't Nvidia partnered with Honey?
I don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and tell the story here because I think it's very fascinating. And if you haven't watched a video on it by now, you probably wouldn't, is my argument. The way the Honey scam worked, for anyone who is curious, is they would pay influencers to recommend Honey. Honey would then get installed as an extension. Say you're watching a new video from the influencer, you click a link to buy a sponsored product from them in the description, you go to their website or type in their code. And when Honey checks for coupons at checkout, it replaces the cookie that would have given the influencer money and gives it to them. Honey stole millions from influencers. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, basically anytime you used Honey, it would do an affiliate link to Honey.
Uh-huh. It just deleted the cookie that from the link that led you there, or you manually typed in. So then Honey gets the cut.
Not just that, even if it didn't find you a deal via Honey, it would still steal your shit.
Oh yeah. Most of the time it didn't actually find you a deal. That part's the show.
Right.
I'm checking.
The funny thing is Honey, I used Honey like years and years ago when it sort of worked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
then it became too effective. Being a coupon aggregate is one of those things when too many people starts to use you have to be destroyed. Or in this case, co-opted.
See, the funny thing is people would submit coupons to Honey, and like one of the first YouTubers who did the video talking about this, and they never added the coupon ever.
Huh.
Like they just...
That would explain why it stopped working.
Uh-huh. So now you know. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Chris maybe mouthing a little bit more penis the next time he talks about metaphor. Did you play anything else, Chris?
No.
You know who might have played something else? Oh no, it's the industry verdict.
Oh no, we can't.
I'm just kidding. We're gonna get out of here. We're not doing the industry verdict.
Yeah, we can't play a song anymore. That gets
not yet.
No, for some reason, Big Thing it won't get his claim, but on our VODs it will. I don't know why they are okay with us talking about the status and uniqueness of our friends and whether or not we've had one like that before on Big Thing, but Podlords.
Oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
All right.
You all heard him. That was affirmative consent.
For what?
Don't worry about it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro, Rado.
Yo, look at that picture!
Nice cats.
It's a good picture. It's a good cat. However many shades of whatever, I'm tired. We're so sorry, Podlord.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
Possibly the saddest Podlord arc ever.
Right?
You should just get with Kickstarter and be like, refund my fucking money.
WTF, Spider-Man. Mr. I like spam. And I know we showed it last week, but it's real good. So here's the plan. I gotta bounce. Muck Bun. When it's time for the pod extravaganza yet again.
Yeah.
Chris C. Deep fried beer battered Juicifrost with some malt vinegar and steak fries. Cooper Tank. No bit this week. Just rewatching some Yu Yu Hakusho, which is peak shonen, by the way.
Facts. Oh, yes. Yeah, no, Yu Yu Hakusho is real good.
Yeah, why is...
What one... You
wait a second, wait a second.
God damn it!
Wait a second.
God,
why is he down? What is he doing there?
I don't even think we've seen that guy yet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What the fuck? Podlords!
Why?
What is happening? The bits are devolving.
Criminal behavior.
Indigo Sykes. Foul Chikorita.
It's just a little mispainted and misshapen. It's fine. It's still good.
It's not that foul. It's still good. It's still good.
I'm into it. That's a better green.
Come on, Nintendo. Announce the effing direct already.
No.
It's not going to be a direct.
It's going to be a direct. There. Now we have it
They'll
covered.
call it something else.
No.
El Directo.
El Directo. Shinji16 hopes 2025 is treating everyone not kindly and also doesn't apologize for cute spider jump scares. Shinji16, you should change your thing to be like, remember, you're a good person, you deserve this. And it's like still a spider. A raccoon learning a secret.
Is that secret how ears taste?
If you like Sin and Punishment, play Radiant Silvergun today.
This is a lot funnier if you don't know Sin and Punishment is a video game.
I feel like Radiant Silvergun is actually more popular, well known than Sin and Punishment. So it's a really funny way to compare them.
Yeah, because it's
probably
the cult hit fans are louder,
right,
for Radiant Silvergun than they are for Sin and Punishment.
And also their game is on Steam and the PC. And Sin and Punishment not.
Look, all I'm saying is this is how you know this Podlord's definitely evil Lucario. That they assume Sin and Punishment is more well known. Hope Dan did not have his heart set on 2 more Mighty No. 9 versions to subject himself to. Amazon finally canceled the pre-orders on the 3DS version, Bob.
Yeah, the 3DS version. And was there another one?
Vita.
Oh, yeah.
Vita, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. You're telling me. Someone's like, what if you did a Wave 9 where you played all the versions of Mighty No. 9? I'm like, we did that! It's been done! Sarah Lean. PSA. Media OCD has started selling Discotheque Blu-rays, same price as Crunchyroll, without having to give money to Crunchyroll.
Great.
Ooh. The Hard M has become Golden Sun pilled and now owns a physical copy of the DS game.
Oh,
there is no Karya in this image.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't trust him. Zoom in.
I don't trust him either. Actually,
Yeah, no.
my eye's scanning it for red, just the color red.
Maybe there isn't. Maybe he's not lying.
Next week, it's going to be like, okay, now I took that same image into Photoshop and adjusted the brightness levels, and he was there the whole time. Posting the flagship monsters until wilds. Here is Podlord. I'm begging you, put a period in this fucking sentence. It kills me every week. Here is Gore Magala, the Black Eclipse Wyvern, or a semicolon. I'll take a semicolon. Matty Mo. Pleochrome. What do you mean we're already 2 weeks into 2025?
2025? It's 2026.
I felt like
I've seen that thing before.
I mean, it looks like the Blobs with 7 Rebirth. Like a little bit. That's what the RTX would do to that face. Were you shot while jacking it in a liquor store robbery? You might be entitled to compensation. Call 505-503-4455.
I hope that's nobody's actual number.
Grigory Rasputin from Thaumaturge. The Thaumaturge. I mean, Fate Grand Order. Yokorove Keikok. Wait a second. Keikok! That means plan!
Yeah.
Ah,
you can't trick us.
I
see you.
I wish I didn't. Virmvarm. Insomniac should put Dylan Brock in Spider-Man 3.
Is that Eddie Brock? Does Eddie Brock have a fucking son now?
Matahari. I like her.
Seems happy.
She's got a great vibe going on there. Chugging Bleach about to morph into the podcast Reaper, the only podcast that pulls your soul ribbon. Why does he look like a man in black?
I don't know.
Because Kubo likes to draw characters in different outfits.
He likes to have fun. I hate Sony making all these movies. Make a video game, you fucking assholes! Do both, whatever. Nine Souls is 2024 GOTY, actually.
That is a powerful image.
Yeah, I'm like, is this real? Is this in the game? One moment.
That would be very funny.
Cryptid Bird. Sugita. We're still
doing the Zatch Bell.
Yeah, the Zatch Bell. And Digital Basic. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GB Podcasts. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as early access to Pokemon Go to the Movies, which will be over in like 1 month, and Chugging Bleach, which will be over in when they fucking finish that show. You also get other benefits such as extended content for other shows we do. You get a patron-funded show, one a month, either a public show where we watch a horrible thing and patrons get a commentary track, or a private show where we watch a good thing and patrons get a podcast talking about it. This month is Jackie January, so please keep an eye out for the Jackie January poll to decide what movie we're going to watch. You also get an entire movie called Isolation 119. This is not a joke. It is a real full feature-length film about a man going to Thailand to solve the injuring of his brother and battle the ghost Maynok.
It's true.
Also, they cut the cord of a computer, and he's really indignant about it because he's being haunted, and his computer is doing haunted shit. So he cuts its power cord and then like shows it to it, like, "Look, I cut your power cord. Now stop." Patreon.com/GB Podcast. If you don't have any money, it always helps us immensely to tell your friends. Re-skeet us on Blue Sky. Follow us on Blue Sky. Everybody's on Blue Sky now. Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, fuck Twitter.
Also fuck Facebook, since now they just said, okay, you can say slurs again.
I mean,
go ahead.
The official GigaBoots stance on Facebook since 2012 has been fuck Facebook, because they held our entire following hostage for money. And we, of course, had no money.
Yeah, fuck Facebook.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/GB Podcasts.
We've got some news.
We do.
I'm going to start it off strong with covering what matters at CES. Not that much, frankly.
I feel like we should do this in the industry burning it down block.
Spiritually, that makes sense. So Bob, for people who don't remember, Bob and I, one of our wave goals was to get a TV so that way SDR games that are dark, we could see them. because we have one of the older style OLEDs where it crushes the lower like brightness range on SDR content. Overall, it's not that bright. And we could have gotten last year's TV on Black Friday, but Bob and I went, well, wait one moment. What if we just wait? There's some leaks already. What if I wait like 3 months to see what's at CES? Worst case scenario, this year's TV isn't that much better, and we just get the March discount for last year's TV when they go to swap out the models. This year's TV is fucking absurdly better. It is literally what the rumors were pointing towards. They have completely redone how they do OLEDs again at LG and also Samsung. So everything's fucking bright as hell. Your screen can be just broadly brighter now. To put it into metrics that would be relevant to us, what was it? I think the SDR brightness compared to ours is 3 times as bright.
Wow.
And the HDR brightness is like 6 or 4.
Good. I want to burn my eyes out.
Yeah, so look forward to our first stream whenever we do get that TV. Black Friday, probably. Where it looks like the Ark of the Covenant the moment the game cuts to white. You can hear a sizzle on camera. So I think at that point, we will no longer have problems seeing dark areas in video games like Silent Hill. Because that was the number one thing. We did 2 Silent Hill games, and I'm like, I'm going fucking insane. I'm just wandering through a black void. I just see the corner of my eye. Ben Starr moment, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's that one picture of him that's insanely overexposed. People kept posting.
Oh, right, because it was at some Game Awards or something where he was in the audience and they vaporized him.
Just vaporized him? That's really rude to do to a British dude. What else is positive from CES? Start sweating.
Right? Yeah, I certainly didn't see anything good from CES.
All right, we'll just go straight into the industry burning down segment sponsored by CES.
Oh
Here
my
we
God,
go.
no.
Jesus Christ. Oh. I almost played the spoilers music. Spoilers, the industry's burning down, and Nvidia is leading the charge. So Nvidia announced their 5000 series GPUs, and they said, yo, this 5070, you know, the top line's 5090, then you get 5080, then there's a 5080 Ti or a 5070 Ti, and there's a 5070. They're like, this 5070 is as strong as a 4090, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I know the laws of physics pretty well. No, it isn't, right? You didn't do that. You didn't do that in 2 years. And for some reason, and I'm sorely disappointed, literally no one is calling this out as obvious bullshit.
That's insane.
Here's how they can derive these numbers. Remember on Big Think Dimension 2 years ago when I told you frame gen was sincerely just to stuff benchmarks and proclaim a generation had a bigger gain in performance than it actually did? Congratulations, we're there! Because they can generate more than one fake frame for every one real one. Multi-frame generation is here. They can generate 3 fake frames for every one real one.
How much input lag?
Don't worry about it. Well, they have reflex too, which I'll talk about later. But so they are now rendering one real frame, and then TV soap opera mode style, they are deriving 3 AI generated frames that should act as an in-between between that one and the next real frame.
That sucks, man.
Digital Foundry did a video the morning after they announced this at the conference, and in the first minute, there are multiple problems, like text melting, headlights on a car separating from itself because it's too complicated to derive the in-between frames on. Because that's how this works. And that video is nothing but constructed from very slow-moving first-person shots, which are an ideal scenario. I want to see that shit on Spider-Man.
I hate that so much. Every time I hear about frame gen in Digital Foundry covering any of this stuff, they're like, walk around slowly in an environment.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what a video game is. Basically ever.
Yeah, show me Spider-Man or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Because even if you're naturally playing, you're looking around more quickly than that.
Yeah, no,
it's
they
going to
are
look
like
terrible.
doing
It's
the
digital. I'm sorry to have to say this. Digital Foundry is an Nvidia marketing firm now.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are completely the stance I'm taking on this is they need to be more critical. People who saw that video that came out were literally saying this seems like a sponsored ad, which is fair.
Yeah.
Somehow they can point out all the differences in the actual image quality upgrades, which are important. I will get to those. But they can't, like, they could zoom in and freeze frame and do all this stuff to show you, like, look at how much better this new model is. And then they don't show any of the problems with multi-frame generation.
No.
Those don't exist, but these upgrades do.
Those
That
other
is...
Yeah.
That is not ethically okay,
No.
is the way I feel about that. So, you got to cover both, just like I'm going to. So yeah, don't trust benchmarks from Nvidia ever again. Maybe don't trust benchmarks from tech YouTubers because they're going to start including fake frames. Because here's the thing. They were told by Nvidia, and they bought into it, that they are not fake frames. They are just as real frames because they're just images made in a GPU. They don't exist. That's what the marketing guy from Nvidia said to them.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're letting that slide and anyone's believing that. That's
because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you want the ironclad argument for why that's complete bullshit, one of these is doing math, derived and designed by an artist to make an image, and the other is an AI doing math to guess at what should be on screen. These are two completely different things, and they yield two completely different results. So, anyways, because of this, and them grouping all of this technology together, literally all of it, they go, look, before DLSS 4, you get 24 frames per second, and after DLSS 4, you get 247. So yeah, in that frame of reference of you're generating that many fake frames, yeah, the 5070 is just as good in one use case as the 4090.
I'm excited to see a Gamers Nexus video on this.
Oh, me too.
They are the prominent ones to actually call out stuff like this.
Oh wait, that's Pop Lord music. We're supposed to be over here on...
I was like, we can have some calm.
Oh, you want some... Okay. We'll just silently reflect on it. We don't need Friend Like Me playing. Okay. So it's really pitiful and really sad that they buried all of the things people should be excited about in the multi-frame gen video. They didn't show any of this with any concrete details during the event itself, other than to say, oh, we made multi-frame gen. What is that? Who knows? Most of the event was literally talking about how AI can replace labor, and that's based. That in the future, you can just buy millions of dollars of equipment from NVIDIA instead of paying a human to do a job ever. Billions of dollars of equipment.
This sucks so bad. NVIDIA needs to crash completely.
AI crash is just around the corner. So yeah, that I think it's completely remiss. I think every tech YouTuber is completely remiss in not mentioning how insane that 5070 being as good as a 4090 claim is. You can see that from space. They eventually put up real spec sheets, and you can see that from space.
Of course.
It is absurd to ever repeat their claim without underscoring how literally impossible it is. Let's see. Gonna cross that out. Talked about that. Okay, we'll talk about something else. NVIDIA Reflex is a technology they invented and got game devs to integrate that allows it to reduce the input latency. The number one reason they spearheaded this is because they need to add more latency to put the fake frames in.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. So ironically, these game devs implementing frame gen makes them accidentally or necessarily implement the frame lag reduction.
Okay.
The NVIDIA Reflex. Well, they have a new version of NVIDIA Reflex. And if you know anything about how this technology works, and you just heard everything I said, or you pay attention to my opinions, you will know how I'm going to feel about this. Oh, no. So they made a thing called Reflex 2. Reflex 2 uses frame warp technology with in-painting. So, imagine when the dev...
In-painting is a Gen AI thing. In-painting is what they call it when you're like, you fucked up this part, re-render it specifically this part so it might look remotely correct.
Weird that they would use that language. Anyways, let me explain what frame warp with in-painting is. So, the dev integrates it so that way it knows the gun is in the foreground and then there's the background, okay? It reads, the CPU reads the mouse movement and renders the next frame of you moving in that direction via warping the frame. But of course, it doesn't have all the data it needs to do that. So it uses the AI to paint in all the pixels. So that way you can reduce input latency And this will help esports first-person shooter players better track opponents and shoot at them because they'll be able to more one-to-one see their input on the mouse reflected in game.
What?
Yeah, no,
that's not the same idea of a technology even. That's just something else. Something that makes no sense to me.
The mouse to eye movement is lower latency latency Your clicks will, of course, still not be registered to the next real in-game frame. So it doesn't help with the latency on you shooting. But it sure does make the screen look like shit.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like it'll just turn your game to goo for no reason.
But at the edges, mostly. Not completely, not exclusively, but mostly at the edges for where, of course, the frame warping can't fill it.
Why? Just so they can have a 2 on it, I guess. That's it.
So that way they can sell more graphics cards to esports people, because the best part is this is coming to Nvidia 5090 GPUs first and then the other ones later. So they want you to get those 5000 series GPUs so that way, you know, as NZXT or whoever said, so that way you can win a Fortnite tournament and pay off your PC.
God. Yeah, 59 is pretty good. I hear it can even play Black Myth Wukong at 30 frames per second.
Wow. Source?
Them.
Yeah.
They made a joke at AMD's expense when they opened. They said, imagine showing up to CES with no GPU, because here's the sad thing. Tell me if this sounds familiar. So we have a 2-party system, basically, when it comes to GPUs.
Uh-huh.
AMD showed up and announced that they have a 9070, said literally nothing about it.
Oh.
Confirmed literally nothing. There are booths at CES that have the physical 9070s there.
What?
And AMD will say nothing about it.
What? Are they Nintendo?
At the booth, you can see the new FSR that actually looks better. I assume to some extent derived from Pisser.
Okay.
FSR 4 looks good. That's the good news. But they're doing that, and it's at the booth. So the physical cards are at the booth, but they won't talk about it. AMD won't give prices, dates, specs, nothing. And they're like, well, it'll happen by the end of March.
What do you think will be the first game, like first console game to ship with FrameGen, and then all normal people finally see it and go, what the fuck is that?
I have to
What is
wonder,
that?
Yeah, like
because it happened in Black Myth Wukong, but since that game's art style is such one that you can't corrupt it, really. It's noisy and kind of jumpy.
Yeah, and it's trying to start you on the other modes too. You have to like make it go to performance mode and then just wonder why it looks like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I assume the next gen console from Sony will probably have a toggle. There's probably going to be enough research at Sony by that point where they just go, yeah, people probably want to opt out of this. Can you imagine? People are upset at how video games look now because of TAA.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine when every game looks like melting garbage.
Yeah.
Because of FrameGen. You know what? Before I get to the positive thing, the one positive out of this thing, I'm going to talk about it. NVIDIA put up a video where they said using the neural RTX technology, they can make faces that cross the uncanny valley.
They don't say that.
How do you even describe it? So on the left is a video game model. No, you go ahead, Chris. You go ahead.
So what they purport this is the devs take their character model, or maybe even the model's face. I forget specifically. I think it was character model because that's what I saw. And that you take a shot of it from a million different angles. And the AI purports it will touch it up in real time and make sure it looks perfect at all times. And in reality, it just makes people white.
Well, that's the thing. You're not giving it images of your models at different angles. They have taken footage of a lot of people talking at different angles and models talking at different angles. And in comparison to that, it's like, oh, I found something that's relatively similar.
Yeah, I think it's literally based on them having models as in human models.
Mm-hmm.
That's the impression I'm under. Anyways, so here's face one. Okay. Like, you look at that and you go, maybe there's a little bit of uncanniness, but like that's a realistic human face.
Yeah, that's a modern video game character. Yeah,
and that's what it turned it into.
Man, it sucks that all the worst people in the world completely defeated us, and we'll get everything they wanted for the rest of our lives.
Yep.
So chat. This is real.
Yeah, this is a real video they put out.
I can't wait to play Interstellar: The Heretic Prophets PC port on my 7090 with this technology enabled. Maybe it'll automatically give that main character hair.
It might.
Like the output of this thing aside,
RTX wig.
the context of like looking at this one and looking at that one and going, the existence of this implementation itself is fucking gross. And the fact that a human thought that this was a good thing to do, a decent, constructive thing that would improve the lives of anyone on this planet, is foul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is yet another symptom of that thing we keep talking about, where it's like corporations are now, they've given up on trying to be tastemakers entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's fuck it, you do it.
So, Tosh was inconsolable when I showed her that video. I thought she would laugh at how stupid and morally repugnant it was. She was just fucking outraged. So, no shit. She just hates RTX now as an idea, just because that's what it is.
That's fair.
Literally, and I was like, it never occurred to me that they would have the RTX branding on a thing so repugnant that someone's first impression of RTX, the branding, is that. And it's just fucked. So that was...
It's gonna be funny when they're like, "Oh yeah, we tried to implement this. Why does the face suddenly have a billion polygons?"
Weird. Let's be real though; it's working in screen space to constantly morph the 2D
right.
pixels, so it's just going to melt constantly.
Yeah, it's just going to be a melty AI face all the time. Which, if you watch the video, even before they AI it, her mouse movements aren't done right.
Yeah, no.
It's just like it makes no sense for actually any human ever talking.
Yeah, no. It's like they made it at 10 hertz, the animation, and then they just did motion tweens. Like, okay, ramp up, ramp down, ramp up, ramp down. It just looks really unnatural. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I feel like this product isn't actually aimed at anyone who makes art, and part of it seemingly is just aimed at the worst people among us. Bro, just put RTX ass in the game. Make the tool, just let people turn up the dial. It'll never have an uncanny valley. It will have no effect on gameplay. Let that person goon off by themselves in a way that isn't racist.
Like, he's not wrong. Like, you put this out and went, it's for faces. Yeah, no, bring it back when you're done.
I made a joke before we went live when it's just like, RTX, can you make this woman more, what's the word, blowjob? It's like, that's not a, okay, sir, one moment, coming right up. I don't understand. I do not. Literally, in no world should this have passed any scrutiny.
It feels like
it had to go through so many people.
Nvidia, every year we get these things where it's like, no, this should never have been released to the public. We should never have seen this. Like all those demos of real people talking to AIs and them making up fictional story quests.
Yes.
Guys, if people didn't love this, why would Nvidia be worth $6 trillion?
We both know why Nvidia is worth $6 trillion right now.
No, they're successful and always right because they're worth $6 trillion.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If they weren't successful and right, they wouldn't be worth $6 trillion. Hello, I'm the head of Nvidia. I'm going to leave now.
What was that? I think it was Masmi who's making a joke. It's like, after the crash, Jensen Wong shows up no longer a leather jacket. And I started laughing and I was like, yeah, he's wearing a denim jacket that's worn down.
Yes, because those leather jackets are getting more and more ridiculous by the year.
This time it was a crocodile.
Right.
Or alligator jacket. Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. Yeah, this is terrible. Hey guys, do you want to hear about the one good thing?
Desperately.
So this works on the older GPUs too. all of them that have RTX. At the Nvidia side, they completely changed the model through which DLSS works and is trained from a convolution neural network to a transformer-based model. And what that results in is a much smarter model that in some cases, I believe, takes less memory, or at least some of the stupid tech with it does. But it actually is much better at ray reconstruction. It's much better at getting details and leaving them in the image. It's literally just making a better quality image, just flat out.
Okay.
And that gets back ported to the older GPUs. Cool.
Hey, Dan, how much does the 5090 cost?
The 5090. Okay. Follow me on this journey.
Okay.
2 years ago, I bought a 4090 because for the performance and me not wanting to fuck around and get fucked, and us wanting to do 3-camera 4K video editing, I wanted a strong GPU. So I got a 4090. The MSRP of the 4090 is $1,600. Okay?
It's a lot of money.
It is. It is a shitload of money. An absolute shitload. The 5090 announced a few days ago has something like 30% more raster performance, 30% more shader performance. And then there are the other things like, oh, it's twice as much AI or twice as much ray tracing or twice as much these things that aren't things that most video games do. So again, 30% raster performance notionally. It's actually a lower clock speed than the 4090.
Okay.
It costs 25% more. It is $2,000. So, hey, Bob, should I pay 25% more 2 years later for 30% more performance?
No, no one should. No.
32 gigs of RAM. It's irrelevant. I have 24 gigs of RAM. Do you think anything's getting near filling that? There's no way to fill 24 gigs of RAM right now, let alone 32. $2,000 GPU. Now, the amazing thing is the Foundry Edition, the ones made by NVIDIA, have a cutting-edge heatsink design, so they are only 2 fans. They are small. They only fill 2 slots on your PC.
Oh my God, that's all?
You saw what the 4090 was. The weird thing is the partner ones aren't that advanced. So they're still 3 fans and really fucking huge.
Okay.
Because it's a 575-watt GPU.
Yeah, of course it is.
But hey, guys, it's okay. It's only $2,000. There were rumors it was $2,500. It's okay, though. It's only $2,000.
That's all.
And if you believe NVIDIA, that 5070 is going to be just as good as a 4090.
How much is it?
I actually don't know because it doesn't matter because it's not as good as a 4090, and that's complete horseshit.
It is.
And it's going to run out of RAM. Because, again, they're RAM starving things. I think the 5080 has 16 gigs. The second highest end NVIDIA GPU has 16 gigs. You know, the amount the Intel GPU that's budget priced comes with.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that, like, what?
The PS5 has 16 and 11 and a half, I believe, are usable by games. 12 and a half, 11 and a half, somewhere in that range. This is the most scam generation since the 2000 series. I do not recommend anyone buys one of these. The funny thing is I was sitting there and I was like, you know, if the raster performance is absolutely beastly, maybe I will look into it just because if it is absolutely beastly, then it would help the VR chat problem where it would just run more worlds at a locked frame rate. Which when you're in VR, you kind of want a locked frame rate. By the way, can we get VR chat on the PS5 for the love of God? Anyway. That raster performance is terrible. That price is terrible. You know why they RAM starve these other than, you know, because they can?
And yeah, I was like, other than being scam artists, is there some other thing?
Yeah, can you guess why?
AI?
Yes. They need massive amounts of bandwidth to fuel the AI functionality of RTX. That's why the 5090 has 30% more shader performance. And if I remember correctly, nearly 2 times the memory bandwidth because they need to power that much more AI stuff.
AI crash, save us.
So anyways, I'm done talking about NVIDIA. I covered everything. I think it's really sad that their advancements with the DLSS super sampling stuff that is now yielding a much better image quality is completely mixed in with multi-frame generation. I think it's completely fucked up that we hit the endpoint of what I told you all would happen 2 years ago with frame gen being used to lie on benchmarks, and I still have people going, it's not lying, it's real, it generates frames. We're so fucked, and the people who follow this industry and cover it are not critical enough.
No. That's insane.
It sucks so much, dude. It is terrible. The future of cutting-edge game graphics technology is just rancid. I hope the crash makes things more sane in this space. Good Lord. Anyway, I'm done. Who's next? Is there more industry burning?
Of course there is.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
There's more layoffs at Rocksteady. You know how we said that thank God nobody did layoffs over Christmas? They just didn't tell us.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Why would
So
they?
we don't know how many people were affected, but there was another round of layoffs at Rocksteady. I assume they're just going to shut them down in 2 months. What's left? What can they do?
I'm gonna.
You know, they always do this instead of just ripping the Band-Aid off. They do this shit in stages.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, now they also laid off a bunch of people at WB Games Montreal who were assisting on Suicide Squad. So they needed people to assist on the DLC for Suicide Squad. But what we're supposed to believe that Rocksteady can come back and make some other game? No, they can't.
Yeah, no.
Microsoft announced company-wide cuts.
Wow.
Every division, every sector, company-wide cuts, focusing on quote-unquote underperforming employees.
Well, it's
Phil
a good
Spencer.
thing.
Bob, that doesn't make any
lower.
Bob, that doesn't make any sense. Phil Spencer's a white man. Firing him would be DEI.
God.
It's really good that their ability to identify what is an underperforming employee is flawless.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way
Absolutely.
that just makes your company worse every time your dumbass tries it.
So fucking brace yourself for whatever the fuck this will mean for Xbox. Bad things. Because if you want to speak, say, underperforming at Microsoft,
Uh-huh.
I struggle to think of another division that fits that.
Yeah, they are like the key underperforming thing.
Transformers Reactivate was canceled. It was a 1 to 4 person co-op shooter. I think it was supposed to be PvE. It was officially announced at the Game Awards in 2022.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has been in development in some form since 2017.
Wow. Wow.
It never got to the point they could show anything.
Yeah, for people who don't remember, that was the CG first-person trailer where they're reactivating a Transformer while a terrible cover of a song
A
plays.
Bon Jovi song,
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, I've never heard of this game. And I look at the trailer, oh, this is the one with the weird too slow cover of, okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Yep.
Splash Damage is scaling down and focusing on other projects. There has been an unknown number of layoffs.
Of course.
So we now have an idea of Call of Duty budgets.
We sure do.
70 million.
700 million.
Oh yeah, 700 million. I'm sorry. That 70 million would be anything approaching sustainable.
It's worth noting it includes marketing and the entire lifetime of it. So every season of DLC.
Okay. That's
So-
something.
So now I begin to understand how you can hit 700 million. It's like, yeah, you saw how they kept going with those season passes. They're insane.
Mm-hmm.
This is nuts, though.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely. Of course, it's not sustainable. Are you crazy? Look at that.
And you also got the sales figures, and you watch as the budget goes up a lot, and the sales go down slightly.
Oh. And this was Cold War, right?
That one was for Cold War. They actually had links to multiple. I can go over them real quick. Just give me 1 second to pull it up.
God.
What a good song. Okay, Black Ops 3 from 2015. $450 million in development costs over the game's life cycle. That doesn't include marketing. One moment. That just is the game's...
Oh, no.
Modern Warfare 2019, $640 million
Oh my God.
over the course of its lifespan. Sold 2 million fewer copies than Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 is 43 million, it's 41 million. Black Ops Cold War, $700 million, 30 million copies sold. So from 41 in 2019 to 30.
Yeah.
In the year of COVID. How?
Because it's on new consoles only.
No.
It wasn't, though. No Call of Duty has ever been only on next-gen consoles. Not a single one.
God.
Yeah.
Even the most recent one was still also on PS4.
Yeah, I don't know how they tried that needle of COVID buff not working.
Yeah, I don't know what black magic did they do that canceled out the evil art of COVID sales?
Yeah.
How does that work? Someone's going to be like, because COVID was over by November.
They're just in the exact same spot as every other top-level game. It's like, your budgets keep going up. You're not getting more sales than last gen. Guess what? That was the ceiling.
Ugh. Yeah. And did COVID get people playing other games and they've diversified the Call of Duty players than playing anything else?
I'm going to say something
I
that's
legitimately think that has happened since 7th gen, where a lot of, I don't think the Call of Duty Madden nothing else dude bro exists anymore. Or exist in so much a smaller number that you cannot rely on them to carry you forever.
I don't know if anyone's ready to hear this. I think the average Call of Duty player was so stir crazy by November they were already outdoors doing shit.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is a very mainstream game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So when you look at the COVID sales that did insanely good, it's generally speaking the closer to March.
That's true. Like, that's when Animal Crossing happened.
And 7 Remake and
Doom.
They're ready for the next Doom to not sell anywhere near as well, right?
Yeah. They just spent how many years
sure
making
aren't.
it?
Speaking of people not ready for things to sell as much as the last thing, Ubisoft and Tencent's discussions for acquisition have halted. They have halted explicitly because Tencent's like, you fucked up this company. Why would we leave you in power after we acquired it?
Right? Which is a completely reasonable
complaint. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you sound high.
Oh, well, I'm glad we solved the crime. Here's your gun back, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they thought that would work.
Right? It works in the government.
For some reason, this is from Insider Gaming. For some reason, they seem to be like, well, the Guillemos will be in a stronger position if Assassin's Creed Shadows does really well. And I'm like, no, they won't. Tencent can just wait. Like, Ubisoft's position will not be reversed by Assassin's Creed Shadows doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Tencent can just wait. Tencent has literally all the power here. Tencent, here's the situation, folks. If you don't understand how business works, if you need somebody and they don't need you, they have every single bit of the power and you have none.
Yep.
Yeah.
They also delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows.
They sure did. The funny thing is, I thought I voted for that in our most delayed. It was so close between that and something else, but it was like, we had some really strong contenders for most likely to be delayed this year.
We weren't thinking about what's the first one that's going to be delayed.
Right, of course we aren't voting based on that, but here's the thing. We only lose if the things that won don't get delayed.
Right.
If the top 3 get delayed, we're still fine.
And the article is like, yeah, it looks like pre-orders are good, but they're below Valhalla, because of course it's not going to sell as well as Valhalla. That was COVID and multiple platforms. Ubisoft doesn't need this to sell more than Valhalla, right?
Yeah. No, of course not.
And
I
for
hope that with
like,
all the delays, that game is actually solid at all when it launches.
no,
I know it
I'm
probably
sorry.
won't be.
A 6 weeks delay 6 weeks before launch, that means one thing. It means they failed compliance. Either they failed compliance or it is so fucking bad they were like, push it as far as we can. Because if it doesn't come out before the end of the fiscal year, their stock tanks.
Yeah, I was thinking about
So
how
I can
weird
have
this-
zero faith.
Yeah, how we've seen barely any of this game. Like they did that one trailer of showing the mission.
Yeah.
That's like it.
Yep.
They've been completely silent on it. They don't want to
The
just
trailer and then that, and that's it.
right. And I don't even know like if we can do the character switching at any time, or if that's something we do like before a mission or anything.
That's okay. They got the next 2 months to show us. I'm sure there won't be anything big happening in the next 2 months that might maybe distract a little.
Nobody would do something.
I mean, it does get them technically further away from Monster Hunter Wilds. Although they're probably fucked if there was a little bit of Switch leaking, and one of them was that shit's out in April.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So your game comes out March 20th, the Switch 2 comes out April 3rd. That'll go fine, right? That won't be sucking up all the oxygen in the room a month before and 6 months after, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured I would show the image. So hey, you know how path tracing looks really cool on Cyberpunk, except for it always looked like it was melting.
Yeah.
So the left is the old thing where it's melting, and the right is the new model. See how they're melting?
Oh yeah, Jesus, they're
what
really
if-
fucking melting.
Yeah, it literally looks like an oil painting. Is how the path tracing looks on
Is that lady going up on the other side too, or is it
no?
different?
But they do show people walking up the stairs, and it's drastically reduced.
There are still weird goo elements around that guy's hand.
Oh, you mean her?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a lot better than it was.
It is.
It's still obviously not as good as native resolution. Anyways, so it's nice to get some image quality improvements there. Just throwing that in at the end. Ubisoft's so fucking rich, dude.
Oh yeah. I have to buy this game just because it has inches though.
That's really tragic.
It is. I can't believe they've done this to me.
Bob, it'll be $5 once they go out of business. Just wait.
They should have named it Assassin's Creed Gaiden.
It'll also be $5 once they go, we need to get the sales numbers up so we can trick investors, because even if we don't make a lot of money, if we sell a lot of copies, they'll think we made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the horrible news this week. I can do my other two since I only have 2 bullet points. Microsoft is promising to merge the best parts of Windows and Xbox for portable PCs. The goalposts have been moved. The Xbox portable is now, we are going to make a version of Windows for these portable PCs that we don't make.
Yup. We don't have a portable. We have this sticker.
Yeah. So dumb.
Hopefully this will result in a version of Windows that anybody wants to use, because spoilers, in 2024, Windows 11 lost users to Windows 10.
Yeah.
People went back.
Yeah, and I can't blame them.
Yeah, no, it's literally terrorizing so many people I know. Literally,
And
4 other streamers are having major problems with Windows 11 right now. Just that I know, just in my close circle of friends.
Right.
And Microsoft also went, you know those hardware things we said you absolutely need for Windows 11? They're not negotiable. You need them, well, you don't need them. Because because 80% of computers still don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the article that wrote that, and it was about a month ago, it was a couple weeks ago, was actually wrong on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was either a mistranslation or some broad generalization and misunderstanding of a statement.
Okay.
I believe that's the case.
Which part? The 80% or they're walking it back?
Yeah, the walking it back.
That's not. They even showed like here's the you're a bad boy sticker if you run Windows 11 without our recommended shit thing that you get on your status screen.
Oh, that got announced. Okay.
Yeah,
I just know there was an article a few weeks ago where it sounded like it was mistranslated or something.
You okay?
This is Donnie Yen, who was the voice actor for the main character of Sleeping Dogs.
Wait, he was?
Yeah, because
I
he's
think
Donnie
so.
fucking Yen.
I forgot they did that.
Maybe I'm totally full of shit. Let me make sure I'm not completely full of shit. Maybe he was just picked to be the star of that. He was just picked to be the star about that.
Yeah, he's Donnie fucking Yen.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like...
But yeah, he was going to be the star of the Sleeping Dogs movie, and it's done, he said. He said it's not moving forward.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, I saw clips of the interview where it's like, you know how Hollywood is. Seemed really disappointed, like, I put years into this, and now it's not gonna
What a
happen.
great system.
Yeah.
I feel like trying to make a movie of these video games that were already so intensely inspired by specific movies is always dicey, even on the inherently dicey angle of video game adaptations, because it's like you don't have anything, you don't have any original idea though. Your original idea was being this but a game, and now you're like becoming an Ouroboros where it's like now the game that was the movie game is now a movie.
And it was really weird too, because that was a game or a movie announced well after the game was done and like over, never going back to, because this whole studio was closed down. So it was like, why is this happening?
Yep.
So it's dead.
Yeah.
That's my news.
Bob, do you have any movie game news?
Yeah, there's Sony, for some reason, had a gigantic amount of adaptations announced. So
I mean, it was CES.
I guess that's
when they do. That's when they announced Gran Turismo movie.
Yeah, they showed the Gravity Rush SAS clips.
They did.
1 year.
Yeah.
Still nothing about that. They still haven't announced that as a movie.
That was just a prototype showing their art technology. You thought they would make a Gravity Rush movie.
They would rather make nothing.
They would rather make all the things you're about to talk about.
Like a Horizon Zero Dawn movie. It was,
so it's not we're not doing a TV series with Amazon anymore?
I don't think so.
Or whoever?
Maybe,
okay.
Like, wasn't there rumors that getting canceled like a week ago or something?
Like a full, like what was it, the showrunner left?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Which, that's probably for the best. Like that.
Yeah, they were like, it was either canceled or they're literally starting it over completely.
Yeah.
So, hey, I guess it's a movie now. That makes a lot more sense. They should do that with God of War.
Jesus.
Horizon is so complicated. It's not like complicated, but you can't easily explain the conceit of like what actually happened, I feel like, in a 90-minute movie.
There's a lot to get to. Additionally, think about how the things in like Forbidden West looked. And think about the last 10 CG heavy blockbusters you saw and how they look. This is going to be awesome.
It's going to be so good.
If it comes out.
Yeah, this one, their branding was Columbia in PlayStation Productions.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Whatever that means. Yeah, that's... I don't know. Like... It's going to be bad. But I don't think a series would be any better, because the series they were going to make was going to be some weird thing before the dinosaurs. Like,
yeah, it was going to be entirely about
stuff.
It was probably going to be some horse shit. Like, for some reason, these fucking streaming shows are obsessed with parallel timelines. There's like 4 or 5 that do that, so I assume it would have been that.
Oh, you think like the Resident Evil TV show?
Yes, like the Resident Evil TV show, where it's like you're getting a big chunk of the future, a big chunk of the past stuff, and so you get blue balled on 2 angles until the last episode of the season, where it's like we'll actually do the plot next season.
We're in a great space creatively.
Yeah. They also announced the Helldivers movie and had literally nothing to say about it other than they announced it.
I feel like I've seen the Helldivers movie a few times.
Yeah, right?
Verhoeven,
yeah,
right?
This is... Yeah. Honestly, if I was Verhoeven, I'd be making some fucking phone calls.
Yeah, there's nothing else to the identity here. This is just that one movie.
Yeah.
What?
So, do you think they'll completely miss the point and make the most fascist movie ever made?
God, I hope so. That would be the funniest shit in the world.
That really would be the funniest take on this.
Like the studio's calling the movie studio every day, like, no, guys, please pick up the game. It's a joke. It's all a joke. Oh God, please stop.
We keep sending you the commercial. Please.
How do you not get it? They're like, that commercial made me cry. Oh my God. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, they're definitely happening. Definitely real. All these are happening.
Of course.
The Last of Us HBO series season 2 comes out in April.
Okay.
That's actually real. Actually, they did a trailer with
They had Joel
actors.
and he was sad.
I am so excited for the reception of this. I need to know.
7 episodes, by the way.
Like, is it going?
That's enough.
I mean, it'll probably be received fairly well, since instead of being a 25-hour-long, way too fucking big thing, it's going to be 7 episodes.
The core complaint people had with the first season was that it was too rushed. Like, they literally just keep rushing all the plot points and stuff and don't give any moment and enough time to rest. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's, what, a fourth the length of the game?
Right. Man, and then The Last of Us 2 is like 2 or 3 times as big as 1.
It's like 16 hours, if I remember correctly, and that's like in 7 episodes?
Yeah, like,
oh boy.
I don't know.
So I don't think they're going to do all of it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, this might even be like a half season sort of thing where it's like, no, you come back. It's like, ain't nobody coming back. Pedro Pascal isn't there.
But he will be, because that's a brilliant twist this time.
My God.
Or they'll just have him be a ghost. That's always the move when a character dies off and they're like, they were the pull. Like, that's what happens. I know in the subsequent seasons of the fucking Jessica Jones Netflix show, they had David Tennant's ghost like hassle her. Because it's like, he was the fucking draw of this. And they did that with the Joker in Arkham Knight. It's like, fucking, the Joker's dead. What do we do? Well, we have his ghost show up and heckle Batman because people want Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the first trailer for The Last of Us Part 2 was just like, oh, it seems like Joel's gone and Ellie's going to have to do this one alone. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I get the vibes that maybe they're going their own separate ways, and then you see one trailer pass and you're like, oh, you're going to kill Joel. And then we still had years until the game came out, and he's like, no. So anyways, I'll find it very funny when this time they're like, and then Joel didn't die. Isn't that brilliant? And everyone's like, no. He's like, which way did you want it then? And we're like, we wanted you to have a good idea.
God. Yeah, that's... Anyway, the last adaptation they announced. Ghost of Tsushima anime. It's going to be called Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is the same name as that multiplayer mode.
Multiplayer mode from the first game. How did they...
which it looks like it might be like that because it shows like a weird demon thing.
Okay.
So I don't know why.
Maybe it's cool.
It's being made by studio Kamikaze Doga, who were the ones who did the Star Wars Vision episode of The Duel and Batman Ninja. So bad-looking CG anime incoming. Watch out in 2027 for that. Yeah, it's coming out after Ghost of Yotei. 2027.
It's coming out possibly 2 whole years after Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah, like, why? And it's about the spin-off mode for the game that came out years ago.
What are we doing?
Why?
Oh my God. Okay, let's just keep moving.
Okay. Fantastic Four coming in Marvel Rivals tomorrow. You get all 4 of them.
They're coming in it.
Yeah.
I don't know why people take my comments too seriously, and my comment wasn't even this, but I've decided, because they get really upset really easily, my new stance, I only want Johnny Storm. All the rest of them can fucking die, canonically. Just kill them all. I only love Johnny Storm. That's me, Dan Video Games, and my stance on this.
It looks like they gave Mr. Fantastic some sort of Luffy thing. Which I guess
a straw hat?
Yes.
What? Bob, I need you to assure me right now that you know who Mr. Fantastic is and what his power set is.
Yes, and it's a thing that only Luffy has done.
Yeah, I think he literally
like
does like that gets a real huge huge upper
he's
body
real stretchy
shit.
like Monkey D. Luffy. I'm like, Bob, I know how old you are.
Right, no, it's not that. It's literally this move.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is funny though. Luffy is definitely a much more known character now than Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's good, actually.
Probably is good. Bob, chat has made me aware of some certain design choices with the Invisible Woman.
Yes.
Oro?
I don't know why this is linked on Sports Illustrated. I literally just searched Invisible Woman Marvel Rivals. She has certain design choices that chat just wanted me to know about for some reason.
It's important.
Unclear why.
I've seen her in Mr. Fantastic, but I've not seen Johnny Storm. I guess that nobody wants to show him, or maybe nobody likes him.
Dan, look at the alt skin. What do you mean? This character isn't even out, and we already know.
There's alt skins already.
I think they're called Malice or something.
Yeah, that's actually a reference to
That's the design for the game. That's not even some other thing.
Oh, maybe it is for something else.
I don't know. Oh no.
If you mean Malice, that's a skin. That's a thing she wore in the comics.
That makes sense. I was like, they probably wouldn't just make this up. It's too weird.
This is a better design than was what was in the comics, but I have spiky shoulder pads and like spikes on my head and shit is indeed a thing that she got corrupted by some shit or another. Because whenever
comic characters do,
yeah, because if you're a comic writer and you're real horny, the first thing you do is have a female character get corrupted by something.
This applies to World of Warcraft writers too, I assume.
But here I put in how that costume looks in the comics.
Oh wow, that's bad. Actually,
that is very bad. They made it good.
Oh wow, that looks real fucking different. Jesus H.
Yeah, it's not even remotely the same fucking. I mean, it's the same idea, but
right, it's the same.
I would say the current design is less overtly horny than this.
Yeah, probably.
That's
fucking unreal.
That was in the 80s.
Yes. Now I get it.
We won't be back at the 80s level of goonerism for 2 more years until they make shirts that totally cover a woman's breasts illegal. And not in games, I mean entirely.
Yeah. But anyways, here's the Marvel Rivals version.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better, honestly.
Yeah, that is a much better design, and I would argue less horny somehow, because the other one just looks like if Spawn was a dominatrix.
I don't know, her hair being exposed kind of makes the other one a little bit more.
I don't know. You got like a bald cap with spikes on going on over here. That's a lot more. Guess what?
Yeah, they do have a little bit. They do have a little bit of a Xenobite thing going on over on the left.
Yeah, this is. I had never once heard of this in my life.
Right. And that's
if you go into there's a lot of shit in comics you've never heard about.
Right. If you go into the skin section of Marvel Rivals, even you see a bunch of stuff like, oh, that's from a comic. I don't know.
So are you telling me that Squirrel Girl outfit where she's wearing what is it like? It's just country coded. That's all I remember.
I have no idea if that's from a comic. It might be.
That would be fucking hilarious. They're just like, yeah, she's just a country gal. That's the new arc for Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, there's another new skin I saw today that was they turned her into a dragon.
Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, she has a dragon tail and dragon horns.
Yeah, that a country costume is indeed from a comic.
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
Man, comics are amazing, I guess.
So a while ago we found out. Go on.
Turns out when you have fucking 70 years of shit to pull from, you have a lot of options. It's almost like people should do that instead of making shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, X-Men 97 was really successful and everyone loved it. What did it do? Oh, it pulled from the comics people already fucking liked.
So for our new thing, we will do not that.
Got it. Director of Bayonetta Origins left Platinum a while ago. We found out about that and covered it a few weeks ago when that happened.
Uh-huh.
We've now found out that he went to Housemarque. This is Abebe Tinari. So that's exciting. I hope,
insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's now a gameplay director over there.
Oh, nice.
That's insane. I could not connect 2 more disparate studios.
True.
The concept of they are completely different countries. They have very different histories.
Yeah, I have to wonder if he's originally from where is that? It's not Switzerland. God, where?
If I say I'll be wrong, but Denmark, I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm terrible at this shit. Leave me alone. Finland. Thank you, Chad.
I was going to say Finland, but I second-guessed myself. Because I think he, like, in his Twitter profile, he updated his info, and then I think he put the city name and not the country name.
Oh.
So I remembered the city, and I was like, that's not Finland. So yeah, that's neat. I'm excited to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Housemarque can put out more games than just one huge game that ruins them. We'll see.
Chat, I'm about to censor the word Matterfall. We don't talk about Matterfall.
Why are they talking about Matterfall?
I don't know. They have so many great Housemarque games they could be talking about, but for some reason, Matterfall.
Yeah. Why?
Anyway.
So they released a new Virtua Fighter Project pre-development concept video at the Nvidia event. Whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, the best part is like, it's pre-development, not actual gameplay. And I'm like, yeah, that's a cutscene. And I saw people being like, well, it just probably says not actual gameplay because they don't want to get sued later in case it doesn't look quite this good. I'm like, that's a cutscene. Have you seen a cutscene before? Because you're seeing one right now.
Yeah, weirdly, they put up the bars and stuff like it's a fighting game, but then they just do like
a cutscene.
Like a fully choreographed fight between two guys.
Yeah, no, this is so fucking transparently that. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I have no idea. Those are the characters in this are just Akira in two different outfits. So they didn't
it's even more like, why did you make this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, but pre-development concept. Why do you?
Oh yeah, this is completely irrelevant to all my criticisms of Nvidia at CES, but it is worth noting. Jensen Huang has not gotten any better as a presenter in all the years he's been doing it. He has no charisma. That man is terrible.
Yeah,
at presenting. My God.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy.
He's like 6 years later. Wait, 6 years after that. 6 years after that. We had graphics. I'm just like, what are you doing?
God,
read a goddamn script.
I thought it was bad just watching this little part for the Virtua Fighter thing. I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Oh, it's the whole thing, yeah. No, there's a part in it. You know what? I'm showing the image.
Oh my God.
Because simply, you cannot understand how bad this was unless you see this image as I describe this. Jesus. Yeah, it sure is. Oh, man. So at this conference, he gets handed a giant shield made out of these AI processing chips they made. And he holds his hand out to the side while it plays mock MCU music. And he's like, one moment. I thought I was worthy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
You know, the worst part isn't that we're ruled by wildly incompetent oligarchs. It's that they're also Reddit.
So anyways, that wasn't relevant to my criticisms of video, but since I thought about it.
It's just insanely cringe. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for providing the cringe.
Don't worry, I'll make it a video redeem.
Good. You know what? We deserve it.
We all deserve it. Because we wanted to live in a peaceful society. This was allowed to occur.
Speaking about hell, Dokapon Sword of Fury is coming to PC.
Hell yeah.
PC soon.
Ooh.
This is a PS1 port. So that PS1 game came out in 98.
It's a port?
Yeah.
Or is it a remake?
Does
it look like a PS1 game?
It looks like a PS1 game.
You've got to be... No way. What?
Just higher res. It honestly looks better than the new ones because it has 2D art and 3D art that's bad.
Oh, I didn't expect it to be 2D.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool looking. It came to Switch last year. Only in Japan, though. For some reason, they didn't want to give the Switch version. But this PC one that's coming to the US, we're getting a dub even.
Cool.
Which I have to wonder if they're just going to use the audio from like the newer Dokapon and be like, yeah, it worked.
I'm really excited for this. Dokapon is a really fantastic and specific strain of virus.
Uh-huh.
Highly recommended.
According to the Pokemon Center, the official Pokemon merchandising branch of the Pokemon Company, it is now the year of Eevee. Beware. I don't know if this is going to translate to any games or anything, but that's for Eevee merch. It's going to go crazy.
I thought a Mario Bro said it was the year of a different Pokemon. I guess that was last year. Never mind.
Yeah, that was last year.
Z-A, Arceus had those new regional variants. So that makes me think that Z-A will have finally a new fucking Eevee. The last one was X and Y.
Which
was
was
over 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah, which was the last one in that same area in Gen. So that makes sense. We could see it. We could see one more Eevee. Monster Hunter Wilds is doing a second open beta. It's going to be February 6th or to 9th, and then again 13th to 16th. So hey, we'll probably get to see how they implement that stuff that they changed. Because apparently they did a video sometime between these two events being like, here's all the stuff we changed and fixed from what you said.
Oh, cool.
So I guess that's going to show up and we'll get to actually mess with that. That's neat.
Yeah. Also, maybe the PS5 Pro mode will be implemented.
Maybe.
And we can get a better idea for what final performance on PC will look like.
Because, oh man, that was bad on PC before. Jesus.
Yeah, Bob, you need to get the 4090 in my machine, and I need to get a 5090 because I hear it's twice as good at the ray tracing.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And my last piece of news is the Xbox Developer Direct 25. Going to happen January 23rd. So we will cover that on Big Think. We want to stream it though. We'll just cover it on Big Think.
And now we got aggro news. Aggro?
So the Elden Ring Night Rain network test. They're opening up signups tomorrow on Bandai Namco's site. I just Googled Night Rain network test and I got there. The test is only for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S versions. Apparently, it's still planned to be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but they're just not part of the network test.
Okay. That happens.
So here's a weird thing that's happening. You remember when Annapurna hollowed itself out?
Yeah.
And like all 25 of its, Annapurna Interactive, all 25 of its employees left. Do you also remember when Take-Two sold Private Division?
Yes.
Yeah.
To unknown parties?
Uh-huh.
Well, according to a Jason Schreier article on Bloomberg, that unknown parties was apparently Haveli Investments. And they have struck a deal with the staff that left Annapurna. And apparently they're subsuming, merging with Private Division.
That's interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, there were like 20 employees left in Private Division when they got bought. Apparently, there will be an unknown number of layoffs to accommodate incoming staff. Private Division, for those who don't remember, they're the guys who put out Kerbal Space Program. They're Tales of the Shire is also them. And
they published Penny's Big Breakaway.
And apparently some unannounced Game Freak project.
Weird.
Yeah. We don't have an announcement of like what they're going to name this new thing, if it's going to have a new name, any new projects they might do, but apparently they're just going to publish Private Division stuff. This is bizarre.
It is really bizarre. You don't normally see that.
Like, I'm wondering what kind of entity former Annapurna Interactive employees are to have struck a deal with this investment firm. Like, did they show up en masse to their office and be like, hey, what's up? We would like to be part of a company. Do you have any lying around?
There has to be a situation where someone at Annapurna had so much of the fiscal information about how they were the part of Annapurna that was making money and doing well to just walk into that bank to be like, yo, look at this. We print money. Anyways, we need a company to take over. This one seems good.
You got any husks around?
I'm looking to have one of those anime moments where like the protagonist is dying and staring up and cursing God, and I could just be some devilish fiend that overtakes his body to make him so strong. That's fucking strange.
Yep. So in lighter, we now live in a cyberpunk dystopian news. So a judge in Broward County, because of course it was Broward County, it's always Broward County, during a stand your ground trial, because we're talking about Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida.
The defense mocked up a CG animation of the event based on, photo and video.
What?
And then rendered that as a POV VR experience. So there is footage of a judge in Broward County wearing a MetaQuest 2 watching this event, a CG version of this event, unfold. This may be the first time this has been done in the United States.
God. What?
I feel like none of that's okay.
Right?
But since, like I said, this was a stand your ground thing, since this is technology being used in favor of gun use, I expect Florida politicians to be perfectly okay with it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's interesting how this, not to make a pun, how this meta is going to develop. Because if you've been in a VR headset, you know how automatically compelling it is.
Mm-hmm.
Putting your judge in a VR headset from the POV of your self-defense defendant, that is potent new tech.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
So we used to have this concept, I think it was called culture shock or technological lag, where a new technology would be invented and it would take the culture and the societal norms and the laws a while to catch up to it. We used to have that as a concept. Now it's just what's been going on for the last 20 years.
Yeah, straight.
It used to be a weird thing you could point at and not the atmosphere you currently exist in.
Yeah, no, somehow the internet happened and laws never caught up.
That's truly deranged. Yeah. That notion.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Yeah, no, it's
Your
messed
Honor,
up.
in order to best showcase what happened there on that fateful day, we have set up an escape room.
Right.
No?
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm looking forward to? Police body cams now have 2 lenses because they have to record in VR.
That would be fantastic. That should be how that works. The judge puts on the headset. He's like, "Oh, that feels bad," and they're like, "Your Honor," and he's like, "Does this? Was he tilted on the day of?" And it's like, the headset's not on, sir. You need to put it, it's not. You didn't put it on right, sir.
The judge is vomiting while trying.
God, that would be hilarious. All I know is I don't like you because you put the headset on me. The defense wins.
This is a new thing that attorneys are going to have to look out for, because they'll often like, okay, this judge is soft on this kind of crime. This judge usually goes easy on blondes. This judge gets terrible motion sickness, so we can't use the headset.
What a great society we live in. Yeah. What a great society. Anyways, that's it for news.
Oh, man.
We're in the clear. We survived.
We did.
The first real news week of the year.
Oh,
boy.
It's going to be like this all year, isn't it?
Something tells me Nvidia stock won't be like this the whole year.
That'll be nice.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, I do wonder when everybody's going to go like, you motherfucker, you show something that actually will make money, because you haven't done that yet.
It's really funny because when they talked about their warehouse simulation, they're like, we can make an AI simulation of the warehouse in parallel to the warehouse using AI technology and cameras and sensors. It's like, okay, so what does it do?
You give us millions of dollars.
We made
yeah, you pay us for it.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
AI simulation of the warehouse. They're just like, their eyes are blood red. Anyways, that's it for Big Think Dimension. However, Bob, I hear we're getting snowed in. Just a little, as a treat. Should I do it? I want to do it.
I don't know.
I want to do it. They are owed it, and I need to do it before the end of Game of the Year anyway.
True. You do need to do it. Maybe you do it.
I will go live tomorrow with the final Like a Dragon death stream. No matter what.
Dan.
18 hours in. Actually, I was wrong. There's a good reason to stop.
Right? Like,
yeah, that's how it's going to go.
There's also a slight possibility of, we lose power because of the storm.
Man, that would actually be hilarious given how bad last year was, and this is going to be nowhere near as bad.
Right.
To lose power this time would be farcical.
It would. It would be like, what happened?
Still really possible.
Yeah, we don't want to just call the bet and be like, it's not going to happen.
Anyway, here's the Japan dungeon. Cool. That looks great. I approve. So then when you look at my broad playthrough, it's like Dan spent 30 hours on Dandoko Island, went all the way to the bottom of the first dungeon and eventually, and then the second one he waved at it.
I got what I wanted.
Who knows?
Bye.
I'm very excited, and I've been putting this off too long because there's always something there to keep me from doing it. But finally, I'm getting everything out of the way, including Bob. Bob's going to be my AI partner for the stream. It's going to be in the corner. I'm going to have my AI Bob, and he's going to be like, chat is telling you to end it. I'll be like, please stop reading those chat members. Hey, Chris, what are you up to?
Nothing. I think I'm probably going to be sick this weekend.
Okay. Well, I hope you rest well, get lots of water, eat well, order a nacho trough.
No, I'm not going to do that one.
I did sit there and I was like, oh man, we could have got a nacho trough for New Year's if they still sell it. I actually don't know.
I think they stopped selling that years ago, honestly.
I don't think they do, no.
Hey, Chris, what are you, hey, Aggro, what are you up to?
I'm going to be unraveling the outer layer of my brain on the jagged rock that is Lorelei and the laser eyes.
That's great. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for Big Think Dimension. We will see you all next week. It's your turn. You gotta tell them to go to our Patreon.
Okay. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is brought to you by PBS. No, wait, that other thing. Your support on patreon.com/GB podcast. It is literally the only way that some of us can pay our rent.
This is a good sell. That's patreon.com/GB podcast.